A pinch hit, 2-run home run for Stanton. And the Yankees have pulled to within two.
$20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman.
Legacy's AC Repairman.
AC Repairman.
Can't spell Legacy without AC.
Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
It's going to be a run that goes on for this wonderful 22-year-old.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
That was drilled deep to right center field on the run. Rodriguez on the track. Tony, look and see ya. A pinch hit. 2-run home run for Stanton. And the Yankees have pulled to within two.
Fantastic Friday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight could be a life changer for you. $70 million up for grabs in Lotto Max. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Another Oiler, actually two, have flown the coop, shall we say. Not a surprise, Jeff Skinner, we knew he was never signing with the Edmonton Oilers, but he signs a 1-year, $3 million deal with the San Jose Sharks today. Also, we had David Pelche is going to be an assistant coach with the Dallas Stars, joining Glenn Gulletson. So I think Chris Knobloch's got a lot of spots to fill in his coaching staff. That now they knew that Dave Pelche, we talked about it, that he was leaving. This isn't a surprise, right? All their assistant coaches' contract expired on June 30th. Pelche's gone, Schwartz is gone, Gulletson's gone, and I am fairly certain. My understanding is that the only coach who will return outside of Knobloch will be Stewart. Not 100% official on Paul Coffey, but it seems like I'd be like 97% to quote Connor McDavid number on Paul Coffey not returning in a coaching capacity. Could see him still in the organization, but not there. Also, the Sharks also acquired Mr. Reeves from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they want to ensure that their young kids aren't going to get taken advantage of this year a little bit. You can still do it. Don't kid yourselves. Just because you have a tough guy on the team doesn't mean that Nobody's going to take a run at your players, but they want a little bit of a, I guess, the protector around. Ree's pretty upbeat guy, so they'll bring him in. Way to go. Josh Manson also yesterday signed a 2-year extension, $3.95 million. When he's healthy, he's a pretty good player. He's battled injuries a lot in his career. On the program today, we are going to discuss something. As many of you are NHL fans, you're sitting there and you're probably like, what the hell is going on? This is bizarro world for me as an NHL fan, because today the MOU came out and it's official. The CBA for next year, not like we're talking 15 months ahead of time. You couldn't get them to ever agree on anything. Shortened season 1995, season completely gone 2005, shortened season 2013. You're like, this is the worst. The worst. But not this time. The CBA has been ratified. It's agreed upon, and it's locked in. And so to go over some of the key parts of it, and there's some interesting one, like any CBA, like some of the wording, I'm going to read one of them, and you're going to be like, what the hell are they talking about? But so let's start with the playoff salary cap. I think we can all agree that bringing a $9.5 million player back for the playoffs with really no penalty, that's a significant advantage. Vegas, Tampa, Florida, they all won cups in that regard. Now, the Oilers, they would have been in the same boat had Ekholm or Hyman stayed healthy, but they were never a team that really benefited from it, because when Evander Kane came back, Ekholm was out. Ekholm made $6 million, so it fit in. Then Ekholm comes back, Zach Hyman's out. So there was never really any savings of it. So here's how it works. So the extra cap space a club receives when a player goes on LTIR will be limited to an amount equal to the prior season's average league salary, unless the NHL and the NHL approve the full amount, which will only happen when there's no doubt the player will miss an entire remainder of the season, including playoffs. That's the key, including playoffs. Okay. So a cap will exist in the playoffs, but it's only going to apply to the 20 players that suit up for each game, 18 skaters, 2 goaltenders. And here's an example of how they're going to account for the salary cap. Now, prepare for this. Now, you can read it at OilersNation.com in my article. I just put it out. But listen to this. So a player on, let's just say Edmonton, it makes it easier. A player on Edmonton has averaged an amount of $10 million. However, Edmonton acquired him from Club Y in a trade at the halfway point of the regular season in a retained salary transaction, in which the previous club retained 25% of his averaged amount. That's the new thing, averaged amount. So he plays for the Oilers for the remainder of the regular season and is charged $3.7 million to its average club salary in the regular season. Edmonton then qualifies for the playoffs. If Edmonton plays him on the playing roster for a playoff game, it'll be charged a $7.5 million for its playoff playing roster average club salary. So even if he's 3.75 in the regular season, he's now in a playoff game, 7.5. If he's not on their playoff roster for a playoff game, then it doesn't matter. But that is now, if the team that, let's say you have 2 teams who trade a player and you retain salary, if the team, and this doesn't happen very often, especially at the trade deadline, because usually it's a team that's out of the playoffs. And remember, you can't do multiple retention on a salary anymore. It's got to be 75 days apart, which is that ever going to happen? Hey guys, I guess in theory, yes, you could. You could trade a guy for 50%, and then the next year you could trade him again, and it's 75 apart. So 75 days apart, you could do it, but it's not going to happen in the playoffs. But if, let's say, Edmonton and Calgary made a trade and Calgary retained salary, and then somehow Calgary makes the playoffs, they will be charged $1.25 million to its playoff playing roster average club salary on account of this player. So even if he's not on their team, there still would be a penalty. So it's not as cut and dry as player A makes $5 million. You trade him, he's $2.5 million. That's his cap hit. It's not. It's going to be the added to their average club salary in the regular season, because now that's what they're doing. So it is a little bit more complicated, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I didn't see anywhere talking about the 20 player roster that it would include, like, let's say Jack Campbell, he's a buyout. He's $2.3 million against the cap this year for the Oilers. From anything I read, when they got to the playoffs, nothing about his buyout would count. Now, maybe I read it wrong, which is very possible. So might overlooked it. So if anybody out there did read it and you're like, no, those count. Because to me, that should still count. You should have your 20-man. You can't take 3 less players and now any buyouts that you have and erase them from your salary cap. But that was my understanding when I read it. So it's a step in the right direction for a playoff salary cap. Gone are the days of, this guy's 9.5 mil on LTIR, and then boom, he just suddenly appears in the playoffs. No big deal. This is an interesting one. European players who are 25 to 27 are required when they sign a contract to be in the entry-level system. Now, that means a guy like, look at the Oilers, who they just signed, right? Atro Lepinen. He just broke the scoring record for D-men in Finland, but he had to sign a 1-year, 2-way entry-level contract, right? Every NHL entry-level contract is a 2-way contract, meaning you get paid a salary if you're in the NHL, and then you get paid a significantly reduced salary if you're in the AHL, especially on an entry-level deal. There's a maximum you can get for both. In the case of Lepinen, if he's in Edmonton, he gets $975K. If he's in the minors, he gets $85K. Pretty significant difference. And I think why they're doing this is they're trying to attract more 25 to 27-year-old Europeans who will come over because, now they could still sign technically a 2-way deal, but the 2-way deal could pay them $500K in the minors if you wanted to, or you just sign them to a 1-way deal and whatever they get paid in the NHL, they get paid in the American League. Because it's hard to bring guys over and just quickly adapt to the American League game right away. And some of these players are pretty good. But if I'm making $500K in Finland or wherever, and some of them can make more than that, $1 million, am I really going to leave to come over and make $85K in the American League? Like, if you're married, your spouse is like, wait a second, what? You're going to take a 90% pay cut? Not that easy. So I like this rule. You could still have 2-way deals for these European players, 25 to 27. It just means, but you can put them in like a lot of veteran players sign, right? Hey, you sign for league minimum in the NHL, but you get $250K or $400K, $500K in the minors. So it makes it a lot more easy to entice those players to come over. So that's another one that's being into it. The minimum salary increase will go up $50K every year. Starting in 27, it'll be $850K, then $900, $950, and the final year will be $1 million. We talked about the player loans, that loaning a player to the AHL on paper where you don't actually send them down, but their salary gets reduced significantly. Because let's say you're on a $925,000 salary in the NHL. That gives you about $5,000 a day in the course, and that's based on a 185-day season, okay? Because that's how it works. It's not games you play. It's based on days on the roster. So that's $5,000 a day if you're on your NHL salary. Meanwhile, if you go down to the minors and you're making $80K, well, guess what? Now you're making $405 a day. So you get sent down on a paper transaction for 2 days. Instead of making $10,000, you make $810. That's a pretty big difference. You do that 3 times a year, you've gone from $30K down to just over $2,400. So this protects young players. And I think, and enforces that what happens is now if you do send a player down, you have to they have to play at least 1 game in the minors, except there's 1 day exception. The exception is on trade deadline day. Because on trade deadline day, you can put guys on the AHL roster just for a short time. They're there before 3:00. You send them down. They don't have to clear waivers, because to be eligible for the AHL playoffs, you need to be on the roster prior to the trade deadline. So there is an exception, because my initial gut was, well, some teams might send guys down, whatever. But there is an exception, I was told by a capologist, that you will have the exception on the trade deadline day to do that. The draft player rights retention, basically, if you're drafted at age 18 now, the team has 4 years to retain your rights, 3 years if you're at 19, 2 years if you're at 20. The 2 years one's always been the same, but now 3 and 4. And that just makes it even across the board for CHL players, because if you're a CHL player and you get drafted and you're like, well, geez, maybe I want to go NCAA at 19 or 20. And if I do, then I can't sign my entry-level deal because once I've signed a contract, I can't go NCAA. So this just allows a team, rather than lose the player after 2 years and they go back in the draft, now you retain the rights. But what's going to be interesting is this next draft, this CBA does not count next year's draft. So next year's draft will be the final year. And if you've got some CHL players who are like, well, geez, I think I want to go there. Guess what? If they want to go NCAA, they either go there and then the team who drafted them loses their rights. So I'm kind of fascinated to see how that will play out for the last one. We talked about the double transaction on retained salary. Now it can only happen. You can do it like Edmonton, Calgary can make a trade and Calgary retains 50%. You can't have another trade involving that 50% go down to 25 for 75 days. So that's an interesting. I'm trying to figure out why. I guess they're saying it's an unfair advantage for a team to have a player at 25% of his salary, but the playoff salary cap kind of changes that. So I'm not really sure, like, what's the benefit there. But either way, that's what they're doing. Here's another one for Oiler fans who are slightly concerned about losing Connor McDavid. Let's say you have a $10 million salary. Now only 60% of that can be a signing bonus. So you can get $6 million on July 1st and the other $4 million the rest of the year. Like, look at Leon Draisaitl. His contract kicked in this season. His actual take-home pay this year, his cap hit is $14 million, but his take-home pay is $16.5 million. Do you know what his base salary is for the year? $1 million. He got a $15.5 million signing bonus on July 1st. So for those of you concerned, well, geez, Connor McDavid might not sign. Connor McDavid on a new contract can only get 60% of his signing bonus unless he signs it now. Because remember, the new CBA doesn't take effect until next September. So that's an advantage. Now I think he's going to sign anyway, but it's a slight advantage. So we'll see how that plays out. Contract term, it's down from 8 to retain a player to 7, and then 6 if they go to free agency. As somebody who has been advocating for shorter contracts, I'm all over this. I think it's fantastic. It's great. Then there's a few other things. The playoff fund. Now there's 2 things on the playoff fund. Currently it's $24 million, but essentially the league was kind of paying half of that because it was part of HRR. So now it's going to be increased to $34 million in the 27 playoffs. And that $34 million will 100% come from the league. It's going to be called what's the off share. So the owners are for it all. So the players, that probably adds about $25 million to them when you consider where they were at before. So that's a small win, but hey, $25 million is not pocket change. Well, maybe for the owners, but not pocket change for most of us. The regular season will be 84 games. Preseason, a maximum of 4 games. Thank goodness, because there is nothing worse than 8 preseason games. The worst. Even more worse, Oiler fans, you've had to endure it all the time, where half the league is playing 5 or 6 preseason games. But it'll be a maximum of 4 preseason games starting next year in 2026. And veterans who have played at least 100 NHL games only can play a maximum of 2 preseason games. So keep that. No longer fitness testing is allowed in training camp or during the season. But I do wonder, at some point, you got to test your players, their cardio. You got to do something. Now, I get if you don't want to do the wing gate. I think that's fine. It's kind of outdated. But, you probably don't need to do pull-ups for an NHL player. I understand that. But there has to be something, I would think. So I'll be curious to see how coaches do it. Because now, if it's on ice, that's just a conditioning skate. I think that'll be all right. The dress code is no longer, but the players are required to, quote, dress in a manner consistent with contemporary fashion norms. Not sure what that means, but there you go. There will be a full-time emergency backup e-bug who can travel with the team if they want. But here's the rules for the e-bug. He can't have played in the NHL when under contract. So now he could have been a previous e-bug because that wasn't a real contract, but he couldn't have played on a standard contract. He can't have played more than 80 professional hockey games, which is ECHL, AHL, nothing. Can't have played more than. He can't have played professional hockey in the previous 3 seasons. He can't be on the reserve list or restricted free agent list of any NHL club. And he can't have any other current contractual obligation that would preclude the ability to serve as the team's e-bug. Essentially, it's going to be players who played U-Sport, NCAA, or Major Junior. I guess the odd former pro who hasn't played in 3 years and played less than 80 games. I guess you could have that. But it sounds like there won't be another David Ayres after this season. Because this coming season, there still won't be a full-time e-bug. So the days of David Ayres are gone, unfortunately. There is one change in LTIR. Replacement players' aggregate cap can't exceed the LTIR player, and the average cap hit can't exceed the league average. So if the exception is approved to the league average rule, the player being replaced is ineligible for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of interested about that. Also, here's another one that kind of protects young players, guys who are on their entry-level contract. And let's say you're getting up to the bye week. You know how the NHL has a bye week now? Some teams, when you get to the bye week, the veterans get to go to Cabo or wherever. Young guys will get sent back to the minors. Why? Because now that's 7 days where they don't count on the cap. No longer. If you've played at least 15 of the 20 games before the beginning of the bye week, then you automatically qualify. They can't send you down. The only way they can is if they send you down with prior than 4 games remaining of that 20. So they'd have to think ahead and be like, okay, you know what? This guy's going to go down. Now you got to sacrifice 4 NHL games to do it. The other little small wrinkle that's interesting. Declan, I know you're a big fan of the NBA. Teams can sign players now to a mid-season 10-day PTO. Teams would have the first right to match any offer from an opposing team after that, but you get a 10-day PTO. We see that in the NBA, but the difference is in the NBA, you can sign multiple ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Andre Ingram was really famous for that. Came in, he was a G League guy, 32 years old. Teacher, I think he was, and he came in, put up like 32 in an NBA game. Everyone's dream. So I don't think it's going to be the exact equivalent or anything, but I like to see it. I think it's a great wrinkle for the league. I think it's great for players to obviously have a chance to prove themselves, things of that nature, and happy to see it in the NHL.
I think what it is it's for players who are on AHL only deals, who then, if a team's in a binder, they're like, you know what, this guy's playing really well. We can bring him up for a 10-day look-see and see. That's who essentially I think it's going to be for, is guys on PTOs who now I guess some guy out of the league as well, who just comes in, you know what, maybe it's December, he hasn't signed, now he's healed. We'll see what happens. So those are some of the interesting ones here in the new CBA. So I'll get to more of that. We'll get your thoughts on it and more. Also, Ryan Pike's going to join us next. We'll see what I forgot in the CBA on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
And here comes action Action Electrical service team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman.
Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell legacy without AC.
Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
This summer, get it done with Bashaw Concrete Products. The highest quality ready mix and gravel with quick, dependable delivery across central Alberta. Call now for your free quote from their friendly, helpful team. Bashaw Concrete Products also offers precast water pads for your cattle, garage sumps, and water cisterns. And if your farm, acreage, or cabin needs a new septic tank, remember, their CSA-approved tanks include a 20-year limited replacement warranty. Can't beat that. Visit BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Feeling stressed? Tired of the daily grind? You could try yoga. Just whack a golf ball as hard as humanly possible with 18 holes of pure therapy at Colonial Golf Club. Stunning fairways, the Colonial Grill and Bar, and the satisfaction of blaming your putter for all your problems.
Take that, Dave from accounting.
Colonial Golf Club. Cheaper than therapy and way more fun. Book your tee time now at colonial.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. With the prehistoric family pack, you get 2 adult tickets, 2 kids tickets, and 2 Dino Kids meals. Only $77 for this Sunday's game. Get your tickets at goelks.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Friday. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. It's Friday. Ooh, baby, $70 million. Good luck. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it is time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And McDonald's, of course, it's hot out. $2 sundaes, $2 snack size shakes, or even better, download the McDonald's app and you can get $1 cones. And also the international menu heist is on now. Some of the world famous flavors from outside of North America coming here. You should try them out from Germany, Japan, and more. Only at McDonald's. As Ryan Pike joins us now. And Piker, I've seen you all over, of course, from Flames Nation in Calgary. Saw you getting some of the highlights of the CBA. I wrote an article about it as well. So I'll ask you, what are the 2 things that intrigue you most about the new CBA?
Well, I mean, I think everyone's going to be hammering in on that, the playoff salary cap, which I think is pretty fascinating. Just the idea that, they're going to have teams. I think inside baseball here, those of us who are working in the sports sphere, I'm sure you count yourself amongst them, Jason. Playoff rosters for each game are locked in so late in the game now. And a lot of it is just sort of teams being like, oh, you don't want to give the other team a competitive advantage, even though every team would know what the other team's guys are playing anyway. Usually there's marginal changes. But now, I think it's either 3 p.m., the earlier of 3 p.m. or 5 hours before puck drop, teams have to lock in a lineup and give it to the league, and the league will ensure it's cap compliant. And they have a whole formula for what counts. But this is a massive change. I know, since gambling has become more and more of a part of the sports consumption atmosphere, I know, folks who wager on games, wager on various parts of games, have been at times kind of livid at how last minute a lot of roster decisions are made. And the teams won't be completely locked into things. If there's like a last minute, if someone gets hurt in warm up, you're allowed to replace them. But so much of this stuff,
as long as it's cap compliant.
Yes. And so much of this stuff is going to be, we'll know things far, far ahead of when we used to know things. I think it'll really change, I think, the playoff roster environment. But I think it's a long overdue change because, I think everyone between, what was it, Nikita Kucherov when Tampa won the championship a few years ago had a T-shirt that basically said, what, $20 million over the salary cap? Because of the way LTI was utilized, teams could use that space in the regular season, and somebody becomes medically cleared before game one, and they're able to do whatever they want. The other cool thing that I found in the CBA is just the idea that typically the way LTI is meant to work, the spirit of the rule is, say, Jason, let's say you make $5 million a year. You don't, but we both wish you did. If you made $5 million a year and you want an LTI and your team is not at the cap, your team should be allowed to use up to your full value to replace you. That makes sense. But the way it's been used has been a little bit weird and wonky. And so the one of the rules they're going to have now is starting in 26-27, teams will only be allowed to replace an injured player with someone making league average from the previous year. So it's not like you can go out and go, okay, $5 million guy got hurt, I'm replacing with another $5 million guy. You can only replace him with someone who makes league average from the previous year or less. And in the event you want to replace Jason Gregor with someone who makes over league average, you have to ask the league has to approve it, so does the PA, and then the player who's getting replaced is ineligible for the rest of the regular season, the playoffs. So it is something that it's a bit more explicit. They're basically making the trade-offs much more explicit and allowing, I think, the teams a bit more. The teams still have the leeway to do it, but at least you're making it to their potential opponents more clear what the playing field is. And I think making those sort of gray area things a little bit more explicit in this new agreement will help teams and help the game, because I think you're going to have a lot less chicanery, so to speak, and things will feel a lot more above board.
Yeah, no, well, it's definitely true. Now, I was trying to understand the formats, and I was reading it and I read it like 6 times, and I'm still not sure I 100% understand how it works. I think there's, I get where if you retain a certain salary, but then it's like 3.75 million to its average club salary, then if it's a playoff guy, then he's like 7.5. So it's there is some math equation. I'll be looking forward to talking to Bill Scott and some other capologists around the NHL just about, like, I'm sure there's a formula and they've got the whole system, they punch it in, but it is something that they'll have to be aware of. Now, not for this coming season, of course. So, I'll be curious if teams take one final big swing at the LTIR. That's what's kind of interesting is we got a new CBA, but it doesn't start for 15 months, right? And you're like, so the draft just happened. Now we're going to have a draft next year where lots of those players might be thinking, I want to go NCAA, and a team just drafted a CHL player, and they might lose his rights in 2 years because he's like, well, I don't want to sign with you guys because I'm going to go to go play in college, and I might get $100K. I might get more to play there than I can make playing in the American League anyway. So it is there's a lot of things that are fascinating about it to me. Now, the one thing, and I read it twice, and I know you might have read it too, I didn't see anywhere that suggests, so let's say, like, I'm using Edmonton as an example. They got Jack Campbell at a 2.3 buyout. right, counts against the cap all year. When they get to the playoffs, he doesn't count. So they have their,
it does actually.
His buyout will count?
His buyout counts.
Okay, good.
The only thing that's weird and different is the retained salary. So, like, say, if you retain 25% of a $10 million contract, like the 2.5 mil,
okay,
it counts as a 2.5 mil cap hit the whole year. But once you hit the playoffs, it gets cut in half. But it counts no matter what. It's a very weird formula. But yeah, it's essentially they're taking the regular season formula and then tweaking a little bit to punish teams that retain salary a little bit less, but also give teams that are acquiring a retained player a little bit more flexibility. It's a series of weird trade-offs, and I'm gonna have to build a spreadsheet to completely wrap my head around it. But yeah, as far as I know, it's buried contracts fully count. So if you're someone on a one-way, they fully count. Any retentions, but with a weird formula, any buyouts fully count, and then the 18 skaters and 2 goalies of that particular day.
Okay, so any player in the minors whose salary was like, let's say you're a $3 million player, they put you in the minors and it's a 1.15 cap hit, that's still counting as well. Okay, well that's good because that should count. Okay, so I like that. What did you make of the European players, 25 and over now, who don't have to go to an entry level deal? I think this is going to entice. I think the NHL looks and says we're probably losing some potential players at 25 to 27 because they're not going to come here and play for 85 or 90K in the minors.
I like it. And especially the idea that, for those of you who are familiar, European players up until the age of 27 were only restricted to signing a 1-year entry-level deal coming out of Europe. So they've never been in the NHL before. They got enticed to come over from Sweden or Russia or whatever. They would only get a 1-year deal, and they'd be subject to the same salary restrictions of everyone else, like $900,000 in the NHL, 80-something in the AHL. That's gone starting in 2026, 27. And so that means that, say, you can take those big swings and you can potentially, if you're a European player and you're trying to negotiate a deal, you can ask for a multi-year deal. You're not stuck with a 1-year deal, and you can ask for a $1 gajillion. You might not get it, but I think it'll make it a bit more of an even playing field because you're going to have teams that sort of have to make decisions on what kind of gambles they want to make. And if they're comfortable making a multi-year gamble on someone that has never played in North America. And I think I'm team chaos, Jason, and I think it'll lead to a lot of more signings and a lot more variability in the types of players we get to see in the NHL.
Okay, well, no, I would agree with you on that. I think it's good. There's some things in there that protect young players, like the paper transaction. And I did get confirmation that the paper transaction, the only day it's excluded is on trade deadline day. When you put guys down for, 20 minutes before 3:00 and then recall them, so then they're on the AHL roster, that's still going to be allowed. It's the only day of the year where a guy will not, if he's reassigned, doesn't have to play an actual game.
Yeah, and they increased the limit of the post deadline recalls to 5 from 4, and so even with that, it's the idea of you're asking teams to make trade-offs. If you're sending a guy down on deadline day and then bringing him back up, you're burning one of your last recalls. So it's sort of, I think there's a lot of really interesting sort of trade-offs at that. I know a lot of the things that the players got aren't really explicit, but the increase in the player bonus pool for the playoffs, that's huge because before they were playing for a lot less money in the toughest time of year. There's been a lot of bump ups for little things like if you're on an entry level deal, you get your own room on the road now. You used to have to have a roommate, or you had to be open to having a roommate. Now you just get your own room. Guys are, if say, we always talk about this during the playoffs, you guys saw it. The Edmonton Oilers had a ton of black aces up at the end of the year when Bakerfield got finished up, and you saw the scratches list, 24 guys or something like that. Before the situation for them for per diem was kind of murky. It wasn't really well defined. Now they're all guaranteed a certain amount and a certain kind of compensation when they're up and be told to get ready to play in the NHL's playoffs. And so it's a lot of little things like that I think players will look at, in the aggregate and go, okay, well, I kind of like that. They wish they didn't have a salary cap, of course, but I think there's a lot of those little wins, I think, for the players will add up for quality of life for them.
Well, to me, it's amazing that they had to put in a rule that says black aces who are in the same city as NHL clubs, because if you weren't in the same city, you automatically qualified. But that means some teams. So, hey, I'm not a rocket science. San Jose, Toronto, there's not many of them who are in the same market. And like the fact that they had to put it in suggests there were some teams who didn't compensate their black aces because, quote, their American League team was in the same city. Like, that's mind-blowing to me that you would be like, that is the ultimate definition of cheap.
Yeah, or especially even the idea, like, if you're going up, granted, Calgary and San Jose have not had this problem the last couple of years. Maybe they will in the future. But if you're going up from the San Jose Barracuda to the San Jose Sharks, even if you're on the Sharks roster as a black ace, the standards are a little bit different. And the idea that, holy cow, you might have to be ready to play the NHL at a moment's notice. Yeah, you're on the job. You should be getting paid. And so even if the idea is like, okay, you might not necessarily need a hotel room because you're at home the whole time, you're in the same city, you should still have the same kind of entitlements as everyone else. So I think standardizing that is a really smart thing to do, and I think it'll improve the quality of life for a lot of players.
Was there anything that was a head scratcher before he let you go for you in the new CBA?
The thing that confuses me, but I kind of like, and I'm sure we'll all get frustrated about this over time, the retained salary transaction restriction. So the Flames have been involved in a few of these in recent years. They retained salary twice in the Chris Tanev trade and the Noah Hannafin trade. It's a way to get your cap hit down quite a bit so you can get a little bit more from a trade. Starting in 26-27, a single contract will be limited to one retained salary transaction in a trade in a 75-day regular season day period. The regular season, folks, is usually about 186 to 192 days long. The trade deadline is about 40 to 42 days for the end of the regular season. Playoffs don't count. Off season doesn't count. Training camp doesn't count. So if you move a contract at the trade deadline, potentially you're not going to be able to move that contract with a retained salary until about 35 or 40 days of the next season. So I think it'll cause folks to be a little bit more strategic when you're selling players, because we saw this. Mikko Rantanen was involved in a couple trades. I forget if his contract had any retained salary or not. But if you have a player who's a pending UFA, you might start looking at selling him a little bit earlier, because that way you could potentially open a bit more flexibility for whoever acquires him. So I think it'll cause a lot of little tweaks for GMs, because typically you're holding on to a guy till the bitter end and then sending him out the door on deadline day. You might try to do that about a month or so earlier so that you retain that kind of flexibility later on.
Yeah, well, that part I still don't understand the benefit. I guess they're trying to say that, hey, a player at a 25% of his salary it's unfair. But what the changes, though, into how they calculate in the playoffs seems that would have changed that anyway. So it's the one thing that I'm kind of like, I don't really understand it, but I'm sure there'll be other things that I don't understand as we go along with this for sure. Ryan, I really appreciate you coming on. It's very short notice, man. Thanks a lot. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, man.
That is Ryan Pike from Flames Nation. I was watching Piker. He was all over it and all the little details of it. So it is smart that buyouts will count against the salary cap, as they should. Any player in the minors who is like a veteran, let's say on a $3 million contract, you send him down because you're like, oh, you know what? He can't play on our team anymore. Well, his 1.15, and that'll grow every year. Whatever the number is that counts against the cap in the regular season, that'll still count on your playoff cap, as it should. So essentially what happens in the playoffs is it goes from 23-man roster potentially to a 20-man roster, just your game day roster. So any healthy scratches won't count against your salary cap in the playoffs, unless they're in the minors, or the salary retention. Now that's going to be I think one that we'll have to outline a little bit better and just exactly how it works. So it's unique. We will return and we're going to switch gears from the CBA to, we talk about retention. Well, what about reliance? Is there an over-reliance at times on athletes to their coach and other aspects? We'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
new crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit On the Rocks Yay.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. Could be a great Friday for you. Lotto Max, $70 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Lorianne Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, joins us as always, also a mental coach. And we were talking about the Tour de France and the Unchained series on Netflix is phenomenal. Unfortunately, they're not going to do it again. I understand, as they did the 3 years and that's it. But you had a chance to ride some of those hills. And you're an Olympic gold. Now, I know that you're a sprinter, but still, like, you're a sprinter and you like challenging yourself. Those hills, like, it's like sometimes a golf course looks way easier on TV than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like an Olympian level athlete. How can you describe how difficult those hills actually are when you're on your bike?
They're mountains, Jason. They really are mountains. And I tell you, I was always the last one up the hill. It didn't matter if I started at the front, if I started middle of the pack, I was always the last one up the hill. You're talking 10% grades. You're talking 15% grades.
And so for people that don't know what that means, it's 10 meters for every 100. Like, you're going up by 10 feet on 100 meters. Like, in a span of a 100-meter race, you got to go up that many feet.
Well, I'm glad you calculated it, because I don't even want to go there.
I learned it on the, I watched, I was like, I understand what it means, because I never really understood, but I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. And damn, that is hard.
Yeah. A 3% grade is what a train goes up, because it's got a long load. That's okay. That's cool. That's called a false flat. But you start going 5, you start going 10,
12,
it's like, I start checking out, to be honest, because it's like, oh, this is going to be ugly. I would rather squat and leg press like truckloads and set after set and going up a hill, because it's painful. It's slow. You're looking for one more gear, and guess what? You don't have that one more gear. It's crazy.
Now, those guys, as you were saying, you're like, yeah, they weigh 140 pounds though. So that
God, no. No. They weigh like 110, 120 pounds.
What?
They're light. The guys in the Tour.
They're that small?
Well,
Like,
a lot of them are tiny.
well, I know
That's the
they're
other thing.
tiny.
They're not like super tall.
no.
Lance Armstrong was one of the first riders to really blow the myth of having a built upper body, because a lot of them
Steroids
didn't
might have helped that.
Well, we won't even go there on that. But it was more of an all around physicalness, so that your strength upper body for pulling on the handlebars to actually get you up the hill quicker and faster.
Now, today we want to talk about reliance, which I find interesting as an athlete. And obviously in the Olympics, it's key, because your coaches, in a lot of cases, like I was watching the sprint on Netflix, and the coaches aren't allowed in the stadium, right? For the 100-meter sprinters. They stay outside. They're not allowed to come in. They, okay, see you later. And they wave and they go goodbye. And now they're used to it, I guess. But it is interesting how, because a lot of times, you think about sports and hockey and soccer and football, you got the coach right there. But there's lots of sports where the coach who trains you all the time, you get to event day and they're not there.
Yep. Or you're not allowed there because of whatever rules, regulations. But a lot of times, Jason, I was thinking about this because I was watching like the Little League in the area, and the coaches are right there. And just like you said, a lot of the sports, you're right there. But the thing is, if your coach is always there, guess what happens? You're not always thinking. You're not always preparing. And the question becomes, if your coach maybe has to go out for a call or something really important, or they're late, they don't make a connection to get to the venue or whatever, what are you going to do? And a lot of athletes never ever think about that. They go, well, my coach is already always there. We've got, the support staff that's always there. Well, what do you do in heat of the moment when it's your big day, when you've got to go for your performance and nobody's there, or your equipment is malfunctioning? Then what are you going to do? And if you're able to counter all of those thoughts of going, okay, well, let's play worst case scenario.
Right.
That's always the best game to play, because number one, it starts to ignite your imagination going, well, if I don't have my wheels, or if I don't have my glove, or I forgot my shoes, what am I going to do? It starts to get you like critical thinking and problem solving, which a lot of athletes, well, they're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then they quit.
Right.
And it's like, don't quit. Like, pick yourself up and let's figure out a way, because there's always a way. You may not have thought about it, or you may not know it just yet. But as you start to observe other athletes, can you also observe your training, or after the competition or after the heat, can you replay it in your mind and go, what went really well, because most people will always look to what went wrong.
Right.
That is always the default. You got to override it. Let's first pick out the successes. What went really well?
Okay.
And then instead
Makes
of
sense.
going, what went wrong, is what would you do if you had the situation a second time?
Right.
Right? You're put in the same situation and it will show up. But what are you going to do? A lot of athletes, they've never even thought about it. And it's the unknown that flips athletes from a good performance into choking or not performing or just paralyzed with anxiety. And then they just go, I can't do this.
So what are some tips then to learn how to be not as reliant for your coach or, your trainer, support staff, whoever it is?
Absolutely. Is let's play the game of, whoop, they're locked out of the building. They can't show up. What are you going to do? The other part is if you have a mechanical, a malfunction, what are you going to do? And there's nobody there to help you out with an extra set or a piece of equipment. The other part is if you're put into a situation, and this is great for hockey players, is you've got such short shifts that you have to react and respond so quick. And it's both react and respond.
Okay.
But can you play the worst case scenario? If this goes wrong, then what am I going to do? Can you come up with two other situations of you're being past the puck, you miss the puck, it goes, like what is the move that you're going to do or the skill that you're going to do to flip it around to counter that mistake? And it's a really odd way of looking at it. But if you go, shoot, I missed the pass, or some other scenario that comes up, what do you do to bring it so that it goes in your favor so that you can counter that? And can you counter it? Can you double counter it? Or are you just going to just go off your shift and say, whoops, sorry, man, it didn't work out. Oh, well.
Well, I would think so. A lot of this is going to have to start by writing it down, right? Asking yourself the questions and writing and reading it so you remember it, correct?
Absolutely. Sometimes it's seeing it. The best part is practicing it. Watch a video replay of something that worked really well, and then see if you can remember all of the good points. It's like writing coding in computers, right?
Yeah.
Can you get all of the points and the spots versus, okay, I left the tap running and then we flooded the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so then you write it out, you figure out where are my holes? What am I missing?
Right.
And then if you do it in a buddy system where there's at least two of you doing it together,
Okay.
you will always learn something from the other person because they'll see something that you don't see. You'll see something that they don't see. And together, you know what? You are so much stronger and you'll fill those gaps. And then the question is, can you replay it in your mind with your eyes closed? Or can you talk it through like you're a sportscaster? I mean, sportscasters are amazing. The hockey ones, it goes from this person to this person to this person. He shoots, he scores. She shoots, she scores.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that with your drill or in one of your heats or one of your events? If you're Andre DeGrasse, or Marco Arop, right? Can you run through your whole event from, all right, I've set my clothes in the bucket and I'm getting into the blocks. Can you do it till you cross the finish line?
So for young hockey players, as a coach, do you challenge them to sit in the room and talk about what you would do in this situation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Play a game,
Yeah.
right? Is just, pass it to one of the players going, okay, what are you going to do when you're in this situation? You get past the puck. Here's the two obstacles. Where do you go? What do you do?
Yes.
And you can slow it down. That's the best part for the younger athletes. You gotta slow it down. What's the first step? Or what is your first move? Or what is the first act? There are how many components within that drill that you're going to want to do. It's the same thing as the fundamentals for skaters when they're doing what do they call it? The basics, the footwork, right? There's always a fundamental. Can you break it down? And that's where a lot of athletes miss it because they don't know the fundamentals. They want to get and be like the superstars, what they see on TV. But what they don't see is the practice of the basics. And when you can execute the basics, guess what? You can rock it and build on that afterwards because you've got the basics.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a small thing that people probably just completely overlook and not thinking about. As much as you're, hey, I work out, I do my skating, I do my shooting, I practice. Okay, take a pass so we know how to one time in this situation. Great. Yep. What about practicing thinking the game? Right?
That's my favorite. That's the part I get excited about. I rarely see teams do that because they don't even spend Jason, you don't need more than 5 minutes.
No.
If you can do a minute, you're off to the races. If you can do 5 minutes, that's all you need to do.
Yes.
Once a day, that's it. Like I was at Millennium Place, I saw this skater on the rink, and he took both hockey nets. He had one up and he had one down. I thought, what is he doing? And what I saw him do was he was picking the corners, but it was just above the net that had been placed on the bottom. It had been flipped over.
So he's basically shooting above the pad. Is what he's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I was watching going, oh, this is drill time. So he was coming in slow and he got a few good shots. Then he came in really fast, hot, totally blew it. So what did he do? He went back to doing it slow, then doing it with a little bit more speed. So it's a progression that you build up. But most athletes go from slow to coming in hot or coming in super fast. And then they get disappointed because they're not going in, they're not making the move, they're not making the shot. And then you lose because mentally your mind's going, I'm creating a bad pattern instead of building on that good pattern.
Yeah, I love it. Lori-Ann, great stuff. We will chat with you next Friday. Have an awesome week.
You too. Thanks.
That's Lori-Ann Muenzer, gold medalist, as well as a mental coach. So talk your way through the game sometimes. Great. And do it in practice. Fantastic. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling Home. The no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca.
This is a sports 1440 update.
One MLB game in action right now. The Guardians lead the White Sox 4-2. That one, game one of a doubleheader makeup from yesterday. Later on, the Blue Jays will be in action as they take on the Oakland Athletics. Max Scherzer on the mound for that one. News in the NHL world, the San Jose Sharks have signed Jeff Skinner to a 1-year, $3 million deal. They have also acquired Ryan Reeves in exchange for defenseman Henry Thurn from the Maple Leafs. In Wimbledon earlier today, it was Jannik Sinner in 3 sets over Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz in 4 over Taylor Fritz. CFL gets going tonight, week 6, with Saskatchewan and Calgary for a battle of first place in the West. Edmonton will be in action hosting BC on Sunday at 5 p.m. The Edmonton Riverhawks open up a new set tonight against the Port Angeles Lefties, and the Edmonton Stingers will be on action tonight in the road against the Scarborough Shooting Stars. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen. when I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob, but less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. How are you? It's Positive Friday, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. Also, anywhere on the app, on iHeart, Radio Player, and Stingray. So watching the show, listening to the show, thank you very much. We always appreciate it. Hope you got big plans for the weekend. There's lots going on. As we're going to get right away to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League. It's designed to elevate female youth hockey players. The FSL provides a platform for 12U, 14U, and now 16U players to develop and improve their skills. Sign up at femalesuperleague.com. And speaking of super, the Jays have been super, the best team in baseball for coming up on almost 2 months. Ben Nicholson-Smith from Rogers Sportsnet joins us now to talk about it. And Ben, it's been quite the turnaround, because the Jays, when they started this run, they were actually 2 games under 500, and they've completely flipped the switch.
They really have. Yeah, it's a team that's playing really well. They've been able to get a lot of unexpected contributions, and really that's the key to this team, because Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, they've been good, but they haven't been great dominant players. So they've needed all these contributions from the likes of Nathan Lucas and Tyler Heineman and Miles Straw, and they've really been able to play as a team and play really well for a long time, and now they're in a great position.
So, they're in a great position, and they've done it without some guys. Varsho's barely played all year long. I guess quickly, give us the update on him and when they expect him back.
Yeah, we'll learn a little bit more in a couple hours here when we hear from manager John Schneider, but I would think soon after the All-Star break at this point would be the safe expectation for Dalton Varsho. And at that point, you're relying a little bit less on Straw, a little bit less on Lucas. Those guys will still be big parts of the team, of course. But yeah, at that point, you could kind of shift things around a little bit, and Varsho will be the centerpiece of the outfield defense. And he's also someone who he can give you a little power. And so that's going to be a welcome addition to the batting order once he's back.
What about Alex Manoah? I know he's gonna start his rehab assignment here. Do you think there's any chance? And if he does come back, would it be a starter, or would he be more of a reliever?
He would be a starter. Yeah. Okay. So that would be the role if he comes back.
And do you think he can?
Oh yeah. I mean, he definitely will come back. I think really it's a question of when and how effective he is. So, at this point, he's trying to build back to the point that he can get into games, and he could be back into games pretty soon. So that would be in the minor leagues. I mean, so once he's in games in the minor leagues, typically you're going to want to see at least a month, maybe 6 weeks of games, just given it was a year-long absence. It's a pretty big surgery, right? Like a ligament replacement procedure. So he's going to take his time, but conceivably he could be back by middle of August, something like that. And then it's really a question of, is he effective against major league hitters? Because at that point, it's hot out, the ball is flying, major league hitters are really up to speed. They're not off balance anymore the way they might have been in the first couple of weeks of the season. So it's tough for a pitcher to come back under those circumstances. And we've seen guys like a Spencer Strider or Sandy Alcantara or Yuri Perez, they come back from these similar operations usually takes them a little while to get their footing. So not expecting that Alek Manoah is going to be dominant right away, but do expect that he'll pitch for the Blue Jays this season.
Ben, what about Santander? What is this going to be a complete write-off? Do you think he can salvage it? And do the Jays, obviously if he plays like he did in the past, great. But if he played the way he is this season, the Jays don't necessarily need him. Where do you come out on him and what they can expect from him in the second half, if anything?
Yeah, it's been such a weird start to his Blue Jays career because he played very poorly out of the gate and then got hurt and then tried to play through it. So we haven't really seen his best or anything close to his best yet. Now it's a 5-year contract. So that means there's a lot of time for this thing to go in different directions. And as we've seen with George Springer and his contract, 5 years is just a long period of time. There will be stretches where Anthony Santander is a really good hitter for the Blue Jays. And there might be other stretches, and maybe this summer might be a continuation of this, where it's just not coming together. It's not working, and he's not helping them. So, it starts with health, as it does for most players. And so the first step is getting that shoulder back to full strength. And then once he gets the shoulder back, then he can start his hitting progression and then get back closer to the major leagues. But, this is someone who's not going to play in the major leagues in July, and we'll see for the rest of the year. It's hard to know. And the Blue Jays have been, they've withheld information about this before. They didn't tell us about the subluxation of the shoulder at first. So it's just hard to know what to expect because we know that they haven't been very forthcoming with the information. So will he play? Will he not play? The Blue Jays aren't really giving us the information to be able to fully answer that question. And it's possible that they don't know at this point either.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. As Ben Nicholson-Smith joins us talking Blue Jays. Ben, I got a fun question for you. So if you could put together, based on who's there, and let's just assume everybody's healthy, what would be your starting defenders, who's the DH, and what's your batting order?
Well, who's the starting pitcher?
Well, I guess in any game.
The opposition.
Yeah. Well, okay, fair. Yeah, let's just say it's a righty.
Okay. So right-handed starting pitcher, then wow. Okay. Probably gonna start with Bo Bichette. Then I'm gonna go Vlad Jr. No, I'm gonna go Bo Bichette, then Barger, then Vlad Jr., then Springer. Then we'll want a lefty. So let's put Varsho, then Kirk. Then who else is missing from this batting? I did not expect this.
There's Clement. You got some infielders. You need the second baseman.
Yeah, Clement. Yeah, I'm probably putting Clement over Andres Jimenez. Obviously, Jimenez just hasn't performed. So I'm going to put Clement in at second. Jimenez can be on the bench for this one. So we'll put Clement as the 8 hitter. If Santander's healthy, actually Santander is going to be hitting behind Springer. So Santander would hit 5th. Then Kirk, then Varsho. So that takes us, I think, to
Clement is 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Clement is 8. Okay, what positions are we missing here? We got
third. Do you have third baseman?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking Springer's DH. Springer's in right field. Santander's going to DH. Varsho in center. So there's a left fielder.
Barger.
Okay, let's. Against the right-hander, no, we'll put Barger at third.
Okay.
Clement at second.
Bo Bichette.
Left fielder. Yeah, Bo is short, obviously, and left fielder will be Nathan Lucas. So Lucas
he'll hit 9.
8. No, he'll hit 8, and Clement will hit 9.
Clement will hit 9. Like it's a good problem. Like in the years past, you could have reeled that off, and like it wouldn't have been hard because they didn't have a lot of depth. Like you've got lots of guys who have come in. Like it's funny, Davis Schneider all of a sudden, since he's been on fire. I think he's like OPS is 895 or something ridiculous since he's been recalled. Like they got a lot of guys swinging the bats at key times right now for the Jays. And, Santander is a big wild card for sure if he's playing well. And that's the funny thing. Like the Jays, if he comes back, like I think their trade deadline acquisitions, Ben, are probably going to be starting pitcher and relievers more so than a position player, right? Like I can't see a position where they really need an upgrade. Can you?
Yeah, no, I can. I mean, I think that they could use a better bat off the bench.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that could help them. But I agree with you though that even though they could use an upgrade on the bench, their biggest needs are on the pitching side. I think that's their that's where they could just use the most help. I mean, we're seeing they might put Ryan Burr on the injured list today. We've seen the struggle all season to try to get starting pitchers. So, 100%. The starting pitching, relief pitching, those are their biggest needs.
Any names quickly before I let you go that you see out there as legit targets or should be targets?
Tons of them. I wrote a piece recently where I identified 68. I'm not going to rattle them off now, but 68 trade targets that the Blue Jays should consider and probably will consider. So, I think it's a long list. This time of year, I wouldn't kind of reduce it to just one or two names, because the way the Jays are going to look at this is they're going to look at as many guys as they can. So they're going to take a really big kind of look. And for anyone who wants to read the article, just search.
I got it right now.
Targets. There you go.
Sir Anthony Dominguez, like the Orioles, obviously are a team that I think has been an underachiever. People thought they'd be better. And the crazy thing, Ben, is about relievers it is like from year to year, guys can go way up and come way down. It is. So you almost want to look and say, I don't care what they've done in the past. Just how hard are they right now? Because a lot of times they can ride that for 1 year. Yeah,
I agree. And I think the industry agrees with you too. Yeah. I think that when you look at the prices for relievers, it's really, what are you doing right now in this moment? And someone who's having a bad year, they have no value. And someone who's having a good year, it doesn't matter if they had a 7 ERA the previous year. Like Aroldis Chapman's kind of a good example of that, where his trade value has fluctuated a lot over the years. There have been times where, he was traded for Gleyber Torres, right? Yeah. So there were times that his trade value was really high. There have been other times that it wasn't high. Now it's probably really high again. So 100% agree with you.
The fact that you have Jacob deGrom in your list is very intriguing to me with the Rangers. He's come back. He's starting to look pretty good. And oh my goodness, like you get a guy like that, that would be massive. One last one for you about Toronto's going into a stadium they've never won. I know that's somewhat of a joke, but where they're going into Oakland tonight, they've never had a victory.
They have never had a victory. Mind you, they're also undefeated.
Yes.
So it's really a matter of perspective.
But it is a unique situation, no doubt, for them to play there tonight.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm very intrigued to see. I'm about to hop in a Uber and get my way over there and check this thing out. It's a small ballpark, really a minor league ballpark, and it's really hot here. It's about 35 degrees Celsius. Last when I stepped outside for lunch, so it's gonna be hot, but I'm intrigued to see what it's like.
Ben, obviously, I really appreciate this, man. Enjoy the game tonight, and enjoy a few days off coming up for the All-Star break next week.
Thanks for the time. Thanks for having me on, and enjoy the games this weekend.
Ben Nicholson-Smith joining us from Rogers Sportsnet. Fantastic article, actually. Some interesting names, especially the starting pitchers. If you're a huge baseball guy, I would check it out. Just Google Nicholson-Smith 68 free agents. Like he has gone deep in a lot of them. Obviously, Jacob deGrom for a starter. Now he has them as the maybe available, but likely available list. There's lots of Orioles and White Sox and Marlins and Athletics and Pirates. Teams that are completely out of it, and lots of lefties if you wanted to. Falter and Haney from Pittsburgh for sure are guys I think you'd consider. Charlie Morton, another guy. So it'll be fascinating to see what the Jays do. We know the team that needs pitching now, maybe more than anybody, is the Dodgers. They're just decimated by injuries, and we all know they got a bottomless pit of money. So you might be in a bidding war there to see how it goes. And then the challenge is you don't want to give up too much. So it'll be fascinating. But the Jays are good, and you could get a bat off the bench, probably nice. But with Santander coming back and Varsho coming back, I don't think they need a position player. I think they're going to spend more to try to get pitching help for sure. Get a few extra relievers. That would be nice. Quick break. Wanya Gretz will join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
An elite athlete or weekend warrior, and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way.
Calgary rules. But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Landscaping this summer? Call Bashaw Concrete Products. That's right, more than concrete. Their landscaping division has everything you're after. A huge selection of P-rock, washed rock, and sand. Gray limestone, red shale, mulch, compost, landscape fabric, and topsoil. Plus, the full line of Barkman products, including pavers, retaining wall blocks, fire pits, and precast planters. Landscape products made for your outdoor living space. Residential or commercial, start here. BashawConcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Uh-oh, another sacrifice to the water hazard. Hey, we've all been there. At Colonial Golf Club, you'll find lush fairways, challenging greens, and just enough water hazards to keep things interesting. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a first-year player, Colonial Golf Club has a tee time for you. After, reward yourself with a post-game recap at Colonial Grill and Bar. Colonial Golf Club, where even bad shots come with great views. Book your tee time now at colonial.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thanks you for listening, watching the show. We very much appreciate it. We got a lot of text line in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to those in a sec. Also, Wanya Gretz joins us now in studio from Oilers Nation. Wanya, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I heard you spoke to the Iceman yesterday. I watched on YouTube.
Yeah, Ike, not Isaac, Ike. So
Iceman.
No, I don't go by name. What is it? He's not Val Kilmer.
Well, when you show up at the draft, I'm just learning everything in the last 12 hours, and I like everything I'm seeing. When you show up to the draft dressed like that, declaring yourself the best looking guy at the draft, and you brought your own nickname to the party, Iceman.
Well, you know my thoughts on self-proclaimed nicknames. Not a fan. If someone gives you the nickname, right? But hey, if you give yourself the nickname, like, it's not great.
Now, when I got
you gave yourself one name, so I guess maybe that's why you like it.
Came to me in a fever dream. When I got too excited about Reed Schaefer, Oilers prospect, you specifically told me, don't get ahead of yourself. And I said, too late. The horse has left the barn.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the new guy to get excited about?
Well, when you look at Oilers' young prospects, I think there's him and Matt Savoy would be at the top of the list. I don't think there's any really debate on that from anybody. Those are the two top guys. One's a lefty, one's a righty. They're both first-round draft picks in the same draft class. Savoy was 9th. Howard was 31st. Howard just won the Hobey Baker. And if you look at, like, for a long time, winning the Hobey Baker didn't mean, a whole bunch, if I'm being completely honest, right? Like, there was lots of guys who won the Hobey Baker who weren't even drafted players, right? And didn't really have a pro career at all. And I think it illustrates just kind of the difference of where the Hobey Bakers come. So I'll give you some names. Like, if you look at in the early part of it, now Matt Carl was, turned out to be a pretty good player, but then Ryan Duncan, Kevin Porter, Matt Gilroy, Blake Jeffrion, Andy Meal, Jake Connolly, Drew LeBlanc. Like none of those guys really moved the needle. But since then, and that goes all the way from 06 to 13. But since then, Johnny Gaudreau, Jack Eichel, Jimmy Vesey, Will Butcher, Adam Gaudette, Cale Makar, Scott Perenovich, Cole Caulfield, Dryden McKay, who's a goalie, Adam Fantilli, Macklin Celebrini, Isaac Howard. So lately, you have lots more guys. Like, Eichel's a legit, top 20 player in the NHL. Johnny Gaudreau was the same. Cale Makar is arguably the best defenseman in the game. Cole Caulfield, really good player. Adam Fantilli, second year in the league, 30-goal scorer. Celebrini, rookie, 63 points. Even Jimmy Vesey has had a decent NHL. He's not a superstar, and he's not a top 6 guy, but he had a pretty good 9-year run in the NHL. Will Butcher had good 5 years and then petered out, just not big enough. So, Perenovich, injuries have held him back. And then obviously McKay is a goalie. So, he's played 3 years in the ECHL. He would kind of be the going back the exception. Because even if you go back even farther, like, there weren't a ton, Paul Correa would be a guy who was who won the Hobey that became a star. Brendan Morrison, really good NHL career. Chris Drury, solid player. So there's been some guys, but not to the level that we've seen lately. So does that mean now is Howard going to be Johnny Gaudreau because they come out at the same age? Maybe. Is he going to be more of a Jimmy Vesey? Maybe somewhere in the middle, I think would be real. Like, to be Johnny Gaudreau would be an absolute coup for the Oilers. Like, let's be honest here, right? Like, now he's a little bit bigger than Johnny, right? But Johnny Gaudreau was a dynamic player, right? Especially in the regular season. So I think Howard, he comes in, he's a little bit stockier, right? He'll be 200 pounds probably by whether it's this year or next season, right? Like, you gain some weight as you hit the gym more and everything. You fill out at 22, 23. So he can shoot the puck. He's going to have an advantage that he'll have the opportunity, not right away necessarily, but to probably at some point play with McDavid or Draisaitl. And if you're a smart player who can find the openings, you should have a decent chance of some success.
When I was reading and watching everything I could get my hands on, apparently his work ethic is quite well received by his coaches too.
Well, his coach says that. It's funny. We had Steve Ellis on, and Steve Ellis is like, it works, but he's not necessarily the most competitive guy, Ellis's analogy. So he's not overly physical, right? And now that's something that you can improve on for sure as a player. And I think if you want to be on a cup contending team, guess what? Here is the advantage. I've talked to so many players that when they came into a winning organization, they're like, well, I thought I worked hard till I'm there, right? And then it just starts in practice, and you see how Draisaitl and McDavid work, and everything kind of goes from there, right? Like Zach Hyman, right? I don't know if you saw that interview with Pod Colson talking about, man, like Zach Hyman, I would like to be like him, just relentless all the time, right? And Hyman is a player that now, not so much the last 2 off seasons because of the cup. And then this year, unfortunately, has an injury. But I remember talking to Zach, like even before last year, he was concerned he didn't get to spend as much time working on the small details that he normally did in an off season because they went all the way to the cup final and you just don't have as much time. So he continually got better. And, I think Pod Colson, now, I don't think he's going to be a 50-goal scorer, but can Pod Colson work hard enough to maybe in a few years be a 20-goal scorer, an 18-goal scorer? Well, that would be pretty good. So, I think Howard comes into this situation. It sounds like, he's an Oilers fan. He was watching all their playoff games. I think he likes how they play. he's not stupid. He looks at the depth chart and he's like, well, there's not a lot of lefty wingers, that are locks to say, God, this guy for the next 5 years is a first line left winger, right? Savoy has Zach Hyman ahead of him. Zach Hyman is for sure, I think, the first line winger here for the next few years. But after that, it's open. So I think Howard is good, but you know me, I'm always, I only because I think people, they set the player up for failure. They set themselves up for failure when they want to overestimate what a player is going to be. And then they get pissed off when he isn't there. He said, well, why are you mad? You put it's like the people that said Connor Bedard was going to be Connor McDavid. And I'm like, no, he's not. This is idiotic. Stop doing it. And now 2 years into his career, well, Connor Bedard isn't that good. These are the same people that are like, oh my God, it's Connor Bedard. He should be Connor McDavid. Well, no, Connor Bedard isn't worse than you thought. You just had an unrealistic expectation placed on him by you. I didn't see Connor Bedard walking around. Hey, everybody, I'm the next Connor McDavid. Welcome to the show. Right? You never said that.
So having said all of that, should I get really excited about him and put unreasonable expectations on him at Oilers Nation? The Iceman.
Yeah, we give him a good nickname, but I honestly, I think most people are a little bit, not all, but most sense that, you know what? Now, the advantage he has is he doesn't really have any high expectations. No one's expecting him to come in and carry the offense. You got the two carriers of the offense. Everybody knows who carries the offense of the team. He just has to come in and fill out his, whatever his spot is, and just be literally, if he could be like utopian world, he's a complimentary top six player. That's utopia for me. Mm-hmm. I don't see him being a driver. So if he can be a complimentary top six guy to start for his first few years and then become a real difference maker, that would be unreal. That would be unreal for Edmonton. More realistic is, you know what? An up and down rookie season that has some good stretches and then might hit the wall. Like, he's never played more than 40 games and 45 games in a season, right? Like, I've talked to a lot of college guys, man. You can train, you can do everything you want. Until you play 45 games, you don't know what it feels like to play 45 games.
Who do you think has a better upside, Savoy or the Iceman at this point?
Honestly, I don't know. Yeah. I think, like, I talked to scouts. I haven't seen enough of either player. Obviously, I've seen more of Savoy. They're different players in the sense that Howard's a much better shooter. Savoy's a better playmaker. I think Savoy's definitely a better forechecker. They're both quick. Neither one of them, I would say, is fast like McDavid. Oh, no one's McDavid fast, but there's fast players and then there's quick darters, and both of them are that. Howard's going to be thicker than Savoy. I can't really comment accurately on hockey sense guys I've talked to that have scouted them. And I always like to make my own opinion, but I do like to ask other people who've seen them more, like, what do you think? And they're like, well, obviously there are some that don't have great hockey sense that are first round picks, but those guys eventually weed themselves out. So both these guys think they can think the game. Like, that's one of Howard's best strengths is he's good enough. He plays very well off of guys. Most people I told you said he needs a center iceman who can get him the puck, right? He's not necessarily the guy who's going to go get the puck, right? He's not going to be the guy who's transporting the puck. So I'm like, oh, well, he's in the perfect situation then, because he's got two center icemen that can do that if he plays there.
And the Oilers had high hopes for Sam O'Reilly, right? Like, first round draft pick too. Do you think that that's a trade you make all day long?
Well, no, I think there's risk like in any trade. I think this is the way a lot of people told me they think Howard has a higher ceiling. O'Reilly has the higher floor. They think there's a better chance O'Reilly has a long career in the NHL. Might just be as a third line center. Nothing wrong with a third line center, right? And maybe becomes a second liner. That's kind of what they see in O'Reilly. He's a little bit more reliable defensively, whereas Howard has the high end skill. But now, granted, I'm biased. I like offense. And I'm always like, you can get and I've seen, go look at Connor McDavid's first 2 years in the league and look at him now. Look at Leon. Well, more so look at Leon Draisaitl. Look at his defensive game now. He's still elite offensively, but he's top 6 in voting for the Selke, right? Like, this guy, and he still led the league in goals. So it hasn't hurt his game. So to me, if you have the high end offensive skill, I'll take that and believe that your work ethic and desire to want to be great will allow you to be better defensively. And because playing good defense, there's a little bit of smarts in it for sure, but a lot of it is just a sheer willingness to work hard, get to the right position, and do the things that aren't sexy. Block shots. Now, we had his coach on, Adam Nightingale, earlier this week, and he said, when he came back, because they were talking about him turning pro, and then he said, well, if I stay here, I want a penalty kill. Okay, well, you got to block shots. And coach said, you know what? He started to block shots. Now, do I think Howard's going to be in Edmonton being a penalty killer? No, not to start. Like, no chance. So, but at least if you show a willingness to do stuff, and when you're around McDavid and Draisaitl and most best players in any sport, if you just pay attention and you see what they do, and I think Howard has a lot of confidence. I don't view confidence as cocky, and it's a fine line. And sometimes you don't think Leon Draisaitl's cocky. I'll tell you right now, Leon Draisaitl's got some cockiness to him, as he should have, right? So does Connor McDavid. Now, they'll be humble and say all the right things, and sometimes they'll lie, whatever. And I'm like, are you joking? I know for a fact that that's not exactly how you think, but you say things publicly because too many in our society are thin-skinned and they can't handle someone believing in themselves. So, but I think Howard has the right attitude to want to be great. Now it's just, can he be?
He's ticking a lot of boxes for me. To show up at the draft dressed like that with a pendant on and declare himself the best-looking player, I like that, Gregor. He's coiling like a spring.
Yeah, but that's I look at the, and we had him on the show yesterday. It was pretty funny. He's the third of four brothers in the family, and I was asking him like, well, who's the best looking? Well, I am. Who's the best at hockey? Well, and I'm trying to be humble here, but I am. Like I was like, well, is there anything your brothers are better at? And he's like, not really. Like, it was hilarious. Then I said, well, which one of your brothers is tougher? And, I don't want to say it on radio, but my oldest brother is, he can handle himself now. He does jujitsu. So it's pretty funny. Like, he said it, you could tell he's joking about it. But at the same time, in sibling rivalries, he probably, if you don't believe, now some people will never say it, and some people are very quiet confidence. But just because you have quiet confidence or you have outgoing confidence, you still have to have confidence. And if you don't believe in yourself to think you can be a player in the NHL, now that doesn't mean you will be one. But I'll tell you, you got a way better chance to be one if you think you can be one. Because if you don't think you'll be one, I don't know anybody's like, you know what? I'm not very good. And then suddenly you're great. Like, I don't know any great person in any walk of life who has said, I'm not very. Now, they question themselves and they doubt themselves for sure. But that doesn't mean they don't believe in themselves. There's two different things.
Well, all joking aside, to see an Oiler prospect with personality who seems happy to be here, welcome to the fold. Hobie Baker award winner. There's a lot to like.
Yeah. Hey, Greg's, any updates on the coaching for the Oilers? Well, here's what I can tell you. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but David Peltier, we talked about it before. Dave Peltier wasn't coming back. He joined Glenn Gulletson in Dallas as an assistant coach. Dustin Schwartz won't be resigned. I'm hearing it's unlikely that Paul Coffey returns to the bench. So that's what I'm hearing. Now that one I'm saying I don't want to say 100% on, but I'm pretty certain based on conversations I had. I think there's going to be a change there. And I think that's kind of mutual for a variety of reasons. And I think he'll probably stay in the organization in his prior role. I just don't think he'll be on the bench. So Mark Stewart is going to be retained, my understanding. So there's Knobloch. He'll be looking for 2 assistants, a goalie coach, and a skating skills coach, maybe. So the goalie coach shortlist, I know, is 2 guys for sure that are on it are Aubrey and Rodrigue. That's what I know. I can't tell you. I haven't dug too deep into the other ones just yet, but I think Stewart's going to be running the blue line. So they'll need 2 assistant coaches, one guy maybe running the power play and then in charge of the forwards. We'll see. I have been told that one of those 2 coaches for sure is going to have NHL experience at some level. And then another one, though, might be somebody who maybe fresh look might sound wrong because it means that the NHL is always old, but just more of a younger up and comer, right? Somebody who's maybe been NCAA or in college or major junior and is looking to make the next step in the NHL. So that's kind of where I'm at on the coaching, right? I know the interviews are ongoing right now, and I would expect, within a week or 2 that you'll have that announced. Like, obviously Knobloch would like to get it done as quick as he can, but you're not going to rush it. So they'll start to bring in more. Well, they've been doing it now. What is it? The 11th coaching interviews, my understanding, have been going on for like 8 or 9 days. So, reaching out to people who you want to talk to, and you kind of go from there.
If you're Paul Coffey and you just came off back-to-back Stanley Cup runs, is that having a lot to do with it? Just the physical demands of being on the road?
I do know that, he's got some back issues, right? Like standing on the bench all the time. Like, Paul, going back to his playing days, had some back issues. And I think that, maybe the constant standing up was an issue. I don't know if that's not the major one, I think. I know it was kind of a year by year basis for him was one. I also think that Chris Knobloch is looking into the, I kind of want to have my own staff, right? Not that, and interviewing and having conversations. And so I think at times there's that's why it's a little bit of both ways here. I think it's, Coffee maybe wasn't sure. And then the coach is like, well, maybe he wasn't sure that he wanted Coffee back in that role too. I think it's a combination of both from the conversations I've had.
As somebody who was certainly not off grid to the Oilers or to the game, but maybe an off grid coaching choice, I think he's done a great job. Like, I think guys like Brett Kulak have developed a lot under Paul Coffey.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think Paul Coffey came in and really added to kind of the mentality of this team. He's like, I remember talking to it didn't matter if it was Evan Bouchard or Vincent Desharnais, Cody Ceci said, guys, you're going to make plays. And if you don't make plays, I'm going to replace. I don't want you to just come around the net and shoot the puck away. I want you to try to make plays. Now, if you make a mistake, I'm going to put you right back out there. You can't be afraid. And Vincent Desharnais said, man, he felt like it really improved his game. Now, it doesn't make Vincent Desharnais suddenly Evan Bouchard, right? But the point is, if all of a sudden you can improve and become 3, 4, 5% more of a passer than just moving the puck away, and it doesn't solve every problem. It doesn't mean that Darnell Nurse is never going to miss a pass again in his life, right? Like, that's not what coaching is. Okay. You can't coach. At the end of the day, the split second decision is on the player. The coach can work with you and work with you and work with you. But at the end of the day, when you're in the game, the coach has no say. Now it's up to the play. No coach is out there. Hey guys, can you throw a pizza up the middle? Yeah, let's do it. No, of course not. But sometimes you see something, you try it, it doesn't work. Then you have to gauge, well, when can I try a super risky play, or when do I have to make the safe play? And that's going to come down to the player and what they see and what they don't. And, when you come around that net, like Darnell Nurse, I think thrives when he comes around the net. He's got an open outlet right away. He'll hit it. The minute that first outlet's closed down, he's not necessarily the best. Okay, what's my second or third option here, right? That's an area where he struggles.
How much do you think of Evan Bouchard becoming such an unbelievable playoff performer has to do with Paul Coffey tutoring him?
Well, he'd had a good playoff before Coffey was here. If you look back at 2023, right? That was kind of the first one where you're looking and say, hey man, Evan Bouchard here in the playoffs, 2 rounds against who was it? LA and Vegas. And he was pretty solid, right? So I don't know if I can say 100% because I think he had 17 points in 12 games before Coffey got here. So he's been a guy who I thought showed he could elevate his competitiveness in the playoffs. So I think where Coffey has probably helped Bouchard is realizing that, I'm going to be offensive, but I can be better defensively. Right. And I think this year, so you work with the coach on that. Now, my understanding was most of Coffey's coaching happened on the bench. He wasn't a huge video guy, but a lot of the players are, lots of coaches are. So that might be something that, is maybe different with the new coach. So, you still coach on the bench, but Paul was a big believer that in-game coaching really mattered, right? And really, like when a player made a mistake, like they said, you come back to them, and Paul was like, "Hey, man, like I need you here." He didn't like, "What are you doing?" And that's a great reminder for minor coaches in minor hockey. When a kid makes a mistake, I find, and I was guilty of it early in my coaching career, over coaching in games, trying to tell, "Okay, do this, do that." Well, now you're inundated with too much information. It was more so like, "What'd you see there?" every now and then, or I come off. Really smart play there. I saw how you read that. Really nice play. And if they made a bad play, just come back. Hey, and I wouldn't say something, even though I wanted to, because if you can't especially young kids. But if they're not over coaching at the NHL level, why are we over coaching at the minor league level? I don't understand it. And it was the best because I had a coaching mentor come and watch and says, "Hey, I think you're doing a little too much coaching." I was like, "Okay, thank you." But that's why I ask. Otherwise, you don't get better.
Who's your coaching mentor?
I don't know. It's just a private thing. He doesn't like to not talk about it, but the guy's coached a long time. He's great.
Toe Blake?
Yeah, no. Well, that was Lowetide. And guy's coached a long time. And as just, he had came out and watched your practice plans and are you organized in practice? What are you doing? And so that helps. And I have a few guys Struds, lots of other guys that have, steal's the wrong word, but I see certain drills and I'll go to a camp or something and I'm always writing down, hey, what are they doing? Is that a drill I think I can implement for the kids that I'm coaching at their ability, right? I watch NHL practices all the time. What I did learn also was the NHL practices, they don't have new drills every week. They kind of set with a certain basis and that they come back with the same drill. Then they add one little element to it. And I think my first year coaching in I was, I got to bring in something new all the time. Well, the kids don't know what the hell they're doing all the time, right? So there's they can't do anything at a fast pace because they're always trying to relearn the new thing. So, in season, it's more about getting to certain basis points. What do we got to do? Okay. Pivot as you get older. There's certain things you can do. And, I've learned that as a coach. Obviously, at the NHL level, I think it would be 10 times more, right? But it wasn't lost on me that I watch a lot of the same drills every time at the NHL. Because a lot of it, they're just fine-tuning their skills. Like, these guys know exactly what they're doing. So if they're doing it, you want to work on some skills. But that might be a 5-minute, hey, let's try this here. Let's work on your backhand passing, work on your forehand passing. But, I think the mistake a lot of minor coaches make is they get too much into a system early on, but the players don't have the skills to make the plays in the system. So who cares if they're in the right position if they can't make the play?
Absolutely fair.
And Coffey, I think, like any coach, there's lots of things he probably did well, and there's some things that did different, right? But, talking to the players, I think they really liked him and respected him. But I kind of get the sense that this might be like a mutual party.
One of my favorite things about him as the coach was his ability to remain completely composed when the Oilers scored on the bench. Like, he didn't even crack a smile in some of the biggest goals in those back-to-back cup runs. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. When we come back, the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Your Edmonton Elks face the BC Lions this Sunday at 5. Join the prehistoric party presented by Payworks. We're bringing back the Dino Nuggets at concession, Baby Dinosaur Crawl, and bigger, better T-Rex Combine at halftime. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
Richard Allen Auctioneering's next public unreserved automotive RV auction is Saturday at 9 a.m., featuring vehicles from Alberta government surplus, City of Calgary, counties, municipalities, utility companies, and private consigners, all sold to the highest internet bidder. View on site, bid online. Info at maauctions.com.
Stingray All Good Vibes on Prime Video offers you thousands of concerts, karaoke songs, and relaxing nature scenes on demand. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July the 2nd to the 11th.
Let's go, girls.
Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. A 3 large specialty or a 5-topping pizza for only $54 when you use the promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:48. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Wanya Gretz, Declan Kruger with you at Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Josh Fenwick running things at Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. I hope you are having a lovely Friday this weekend. The Elks, really the hometown. The Stingers are on the road tonight. And then again, their next 4 games are on the road. They're not back at home until the 1st of August. The Riverhawks also out of town as we speak, but they'll be back again, of course, starting next. I kind of like their schedule. You know exactly. You can plan ahead. You know exactly how their schedule works. It's basically a week on the road, week at home, week on the road. It started out actually week at home. And they are on the road. Tonight they will be back. Actually, next week is the All-Star week, so they're not back at home until next Friday for those of you who are big fans of the Riverhawks. So they got, what do they got? 6. I think they got 9 more home games before the playoffs begin. So hopefully they make the playoffs, which would be early August, starting on the 8th. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. That's how you build a legacy. No overtime charges late at night or on the weekends. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair. His disabilities. He's always wanted to be on radio, and now through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute warning. And on Friday, he sends me it, and I will read his 2-minute warning. So here we go. Get some music going for this. I can't believe it, Gregor. It's half gone. And Gregor, you sure know a few things about cutting things half, from driving the tractor on the farm, dividing that summer fallow field right down the middle. But wait, maybe I was too generous saying it was cut in half. If I can, I'll revise my earlier prognostical calculamation. Gregor, can you say that again? Calculamation. It's not half, it's less. A quarter, maybe. 140 acres, right, Gregor? A quarter. It's actually 160 cams. Anyway, that's more like it. The Edmonton Elks press box on the west side of the Commonwealth Stadium has shrunk. If you have the claustrophobia, you might have trouble. Now I can understand why the Elks did this in the heydays. Hey, Gregor, like calling hey. Final word spelled hey, Hay. Back in the heyday, the Edmonton Journal had 5 sports writers at an Elks home game. 5. The Sun had 4. There's 9. Just print guys and gals. And then radio folks like Gregor. And then TV folks like Carius when he was good looking and on Global. And play. And playoffs. These be people sitting there and standing behind the second row. Now numbers are down. 1 print guy. That's it. A handful of radio and television. But now there's Elks Nation, which is great. The Elks put a suite on the north side of the press box. And on the side of that, the broadcast booth. You're lucky in sports media to have media meals before events. The space where the Elks buffet, gone. But they saved the pop cooler, thank goodness. And I drink about 231 Coke Zeros a day. So the Elks press box cut to a quarter. I hope at the end of the season, my waistline is also down a quarter. 2-minute warning, Tater, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sports 1440. They did shrink it, and it is interesting to see because, well, basically the owner made his suite a lot larger and took most of the press box away. I will be interested because my first question was, well, what do you do when you host a Grey Cup? Right, because when they would host a Grey Cup, even the old press box, like they had to bring in risers in the back of it, and even then it wasn't enough. So you had like an auxiliary one. And so you had some guys down in different areas where you couldn't even, you were in the press box, but you're watching the game on TV. And I'm like, what the hell would I come to the game for? Like, I'm not going to watch the game on TV in a press box. That's brutal. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I'll be curious to see, what they do if they ever, well, I'm assuming they're going to bid for a Grey Cup again. So that was one that's probably a little bit more kind of nearsightedness to see what they'll do. Who knows? Maybe they'll invite the media into the owner's suite for the Grey Cup.
How many years in advance are they selecting Grey Cup locations?
Usually it's a year. Like
1 year?
they'll start bidding this year, and then they announce it for the following year. So I think the Grey Cup in 2026 is in Calgary. That's already been announced. So obviously the next one would be 2027. So fact it's in Calgary. I don't know if they've ever gone Calgary, Edmonton back to back. Usually they kind of go like east west a little bit. So I would say the earliest might be 2028. And I do know new owner. Usually you got a pretty good chance of getting it. So at some point in the near future, I think, in the Elks in a few years, it's probably a better chance because, hopefully they're on an escalator up to competitiveness. Because when you host a Grey Cup, you at least want to be somewhat of a competitive team to have a chance to be in it. It's hard. It's rare, but at least that's what you'd want to do. So. Hey, Gregor, yes, Yarby, was he an example of low hockey awareness? Yeah, at times. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there's a lot of things that went into it with yes. I think he got rushed to the NHL. I've said that, and I'll say 99% of players, right? He wasn't ready to be in the NHL. He shouldn't have been in the NHL. And when they sent him to the minors, he just should have stayed there. And I would have had him there the second year, to be honest. I think, build some confidence. It's easier to work on the things you need to improve in the American League than it is in the NHL. It just is. That's just a fact. And so I probably would have had him stay another year in Finland, to be honest, even. Just build some confidence, right? It's not like he had dominated a whole year. I know he had the one World Juniors, never went crazy. Well, yeah, that's a 2-week event. I'm talking a full season of it. So, yeah, there's been some players, but, there's other guys. Like, there's lots of players who aren't elite hockey IQ players who have very successful careers. Make no mistake about it. Right? Because those players learn, what am I good at? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be like Ryan Smith wasn't dangling guys all over. Ryan Smith had a very simple game. Win board battles, get to the net. That's pretty much it. Right? Ryan Smith wasn't a guy who's, saucering passes all over the place. He had an incredible work ethic, and he worked on the things that made him successful. He recognized early what he was good at, and that's what he worked on. Right? Like, it's like, man, I never worked on a slap shot because why? Like, I think he scored 2 goals his whole career in a slap shot. So why would I waste time working on a slap shot? I'm going to work on tipping pucks all the time, right? It's like, now, Leon Draisaitl, you want to make things new to your game. Smith wasn't great at tipping pucks before he got to the NHL. It's something he really honed on when he got here, right? Look at Leon Draisaitl. Now, Leon Draisaitl's lead. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But he was never a big shooter. Now he is, right? So sure, you can do it, and you got to work on it, but you still have to have the ability to do it. Right. And he was able to, not many guys can score from the angles that he scores at. And not many guys can shoot a one-timer like he does, especially with the paddle that he has. Right. So, but I also don't you don't see Draisaitl suddenly changing his game and saying, you know what, I'm going to play like Connor McDavid and I'm going to attack the net all the time. No, he stays true to what's the basis of his game.
I thought it was awesome that Draisaitl bought equipment for minor hockey teams back in Cologne. Did you see that?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. Like, you're making 15. I just said so. Because we were talking about how the signing bonuses will change in the NHL starting. Not next year. I guess it would be the following July. That you can only have 60% of your salary in signing bonus total. Because right now, like Leon Draisaitl, his salary this season is $16.5 million. His cap hits 14, but his actual salary is 16.5. 15.5 of it is a signing bonus that he gets on July 1st or July 7th, whatever the date is. And then he has $1 million base. Well, that's going to change in the future, right? Under the new CBA. So when you're getting that much, like, I would hope you could say, hey, I want to give back. Like, yeah, you should be giving back when you got that much.
My worry, though, you don't think he bought all those little kids his stick, do you?
You should. Why not? It works.
Why? You don't want everybody using those big old paddles?
Didn't hurt, right? Now, he did. I've talked to Leon about that. That was kind of an evolution of his stick over time. And it is like, not a lot of players can use it, but it's also really straight, right? And I think, why is he such a great passer? Because he doesn't have much of a curve. Right. And he's able to watch how he's able to receive passes. I think and I've talked to lots of skills coaches around the league, and they say if there's one thing they would work on with kids, receive a pass. And watch how many times a pass will be on someone's stick and it just bounces off. Right. Learning how to receive a pass is probably one of the most underrated skills in hockey, and at times maybe underworked. Think about how many times in practice they're like, hey, put the pass on the tape. Right, but how often do you work on guys? Okay, well, and where do you accept your pass? Right, a lot of kids. they say, hey, depending on the curve of your blade, but usually the best place to accept it on your backhand is on the bottom part of your blade, the back half, closer to your shaft than is at the toe. Right? So lots of, little tips that you learn that kids should be working on. Right. And you can still make it fun, but when you accentuate that, practice at home. I don't care. Get your mom, get your dad, just pass it to you, catch it on the bottom part of your blade and see how many times now when you get into a game, because I've seen it. You see it at the NHL level. Guy's got a 2-on-1, pass right on his tape, off his stick, off. And that's NHL players. So imagine how many it's happened to at a younger level for sure. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, did you see the Elks injury report yet? Any update on Beard? Thanks from Dan. Dan, he's listed as, quote, available, which I'm going to say I could see him. Well, if he dresses, then there's a chance he can always play. So I don't know. He's got a calf injury. They got a bye week next week. I would err on the side of caution on that one. So I think he could dress. I don't know if he's going to play. We'll see. Smith is out for sure on the D-line. Javon Leake is in for sure for the Elks for the return game. But losing Smith, that's a big blow, especially as a Canadian starter, but they do have the one extra Canadian starter anyway, so it's not going to be a huge change for them. But Declan, what do you think of the loss of Smith? And what have you made in Smith's play so far this year?
Well, I mean, he's been pretty absent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't listen. He comes in as the highest paid defensive player, obviously huge signing out of Toronto there. Yeah, he's been absent. I'm really interested to see if DK Bonham is the one who draws in at that end position, because he's been playing so well on special teams, made the honor roll in week 4, like just flying on the field. Special teams, 1, it's where you are in a roster spot, but 2, it's how you play on special teams that when injuries like this occur, you get into the lineup. Now, he's a little bit undersized as a true edge rusher, but he's been playing very well, and he's earned a shot. I'm not sure if he's going to get it, but I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it'll be, hey, you get some injury. Everybody has injuries. And you shouldn't crater just because one of your D linemen's out. That's what I'll say. No different than, hey, you lose a big defenseman. Look at Matthias Ekholm. He was out. The Oilers still made it to the Stanley Cup final, so we figured out. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hockeyology. We were talking about this. They even have a class that's basically like Hockey 101, learning hockey sense, things that you work on. That's what they do at 01 Hockeyology. That's ZERONE.ca. You can sign up. It's a monthly membership for $300, and you get up to 18 sessions. That is a fantastic deal. Sign up today.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
One final from the MLB earlier today was the Guardians over the White Sox 4-2 in Game 1 of their doubleheader. The Blue Jays will be in Sacramento taking on the Athletics with an 8:05 first pitch. Max Scherzer on the mound in that one. Elks injury updates. As you just heard, Javon Leake was a full participant in practice today, while David Beard was limited. Both will be available for the game against the Lions on Sunday. Canadian defensive end Robbie Smith will be out for this one. CFL action will get going tonight with the Stamps and Riders winner taking first place in the Western Conference. And in the NHL, the San Jose Sharks have signed Jeff Skinner to a 1-year, $3 million deal. They have also acquired Ryan Reeves in exchange for defenseman Henry Thrun from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wimbledon results from earlier today. In case you missed it, it was Jannik Sinner in straight sets over Novak Djokovic. Carlos Alcaraz over Taylor Fritz in 4 in the other. Edmonton Riverhawks opening up a new set tonight against the Port Angeles Lefties, and the Edmonton Stingers will play with a 5:30 p.m. tip-off out in Toronto against the Scarborough Shooting Stars. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, Call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Breaking news: McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Race into adventure this summer with your friends and family and register for the Sourdough Raft Race. Build your raft and race down the North Saskatchewan River in true sourdough style. Your $10 per person entry fee gets you breakfast by Friesen Brothers, souvenirs, and a day of wild fun on the river. It's the best summer adventure ever. Sunday, August 17th. Register you or your team now at sourdoughRaftRace.com. Sponsored in part by Oil City Cranes. That's sourdoughRaftRace.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden. Rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on a positive Friday. Welcome back. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, $70 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Also this weekend, if you're a big fan of matchups, you got Sinner and Alcaraz. Like, even if you're not a tennis fan, watch those two. It's unbelievable. Like they've had some epic matches. Like tennis, we're kind of spoiled for years. You had Andy Murray, I guess would probably be 4, but definitely 3 huge dogs in Nadal and Federer and Djokovic, and now you've got 2 real top guys in Sinner and Alcaraz. And I think Sinner he's only the 5th guy in the last 30 years who's been in the final of all the majors. So Alcaraz still hasn't done that yet, which actually kind of surprised me when I read that. I was like, what? But he will be there. I would assume at some point. But if you're a tennis fan, I would. You got some big matches at Wimbledon to watch this weekend.
How old are those guys? Like what?
Oh, their Sinner is like they're young in their 20s.
Yeah.
So he is, I don't know how old Sinner is, to be honest. I want to say like 20, 23. There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah. New era.
Oh, yeah. No, they're the new faces of tennis on the men's side, no question. So the women's, hey, Sabalenka's not going to win. And I know we got to, I don't know if you ever seen her press conferences or not, but man, like if she loses, she's just like, no. She'll sit in there and she doesn't ever give anybody credit, right? But I kind of like it. Like, you know what? Not everybody has to sing Kumbaya and get along great. Like she is, like Djokovic was kind of like that. If you look at it, he was pretty funny though, but he was, later on he made a few jokes at times, but he is just like serious hardcore. I am the best, and when I lose, it's because I beat myself. And I kind of respect it.
It's weird as a society that we insist on talking to athletes like almost in the moment for the media, right? Like these guys and gals are so into what they're doing, and then to have to come out and answer for it immediately afterwards. I respect people who are still competitors in the conference room.
Well, that's what I've always, people get, well, I want players to say something. Then the player said, well, I don't like what he said. Well, what? Can't have it both ways. What are you doing here? Like, and nothing they say is ever really that bad, right? Like people all up in arms because, I actually saw someone complaining that Ike Howard opened up his crest. Hey, I prefer to be called Isaac. Well, how many Matt do you say? Hey, I'd like to be called Matt. What the hell's the difference, right? It's just like, who cares? Like, I don't call you whatever you want. If it's your name and you want to be called, like I always ask players, how do I say your last name properly? Well, it doesn't matter. I said, no, I said, how does your mom say your last name? Norris, how does your dad say his last name? Well, that's how I should say your last name. I think it's a respect thing, and so I don't mind at all. If a player says, hey, it goes by Isaac, but everybody calls me Ike. I want to be called Ike. Okay, great.
Do you think you get better quotes in the playoffs when the players do availability up at a table? Or do you think it's
God, no.
No, it's in the room quotes are the best?
No, and any scrum sucks. I put you in a group, ask you questions with 10 people standing around. You're not going to give as good of answers if you're one-on-one. Just how it is for any human being. Because in that room, in that scrum, guess what? I'm now Connor McDavid, and I don't trust or like every media member equally.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
For sure.
Right? Some guys get along with players better than others do. Right? I have better relationships with certain guys. Some other media will have a better relationship with another guy. It's just how it is. So when you're in a scrum and Bob asks a question, right? Or Pete asks a question, or Dave asks a question. Well, like I remember Struds telling me, like, there's a guy he didn't like as a media member. Didn't trust him, didn't like him. So when he asked him questions, now anybody knows Struds. Struds would regale you and talk blue in the face because he didn't get interviewed very often. So when he did, he was like, this is awesome. But he would give him one-word answers. If he asked him a yes-no question, no, yes. And then he'd wait till he leave, and then he would talk to everybody. And he was like, well, that's my way of, because I talk to players, if you don't like me, don't take it out on the other guys. And if you don't like them, don't take it out on me. Be mature. It's okay to say, how this guy's dealt with me, I don't like it. And call him out to his face. Like, say it, maybe privately, but go say something. No, I think scrums are the worst. I get why it's part of the business, but I'm telling you, the worst.
Do you think that quotes are a necessary part of the business, or do you think players wouldn't maybe get so in their own heads and stuff if they didn't always have to be facing a reporter's mic? Like, do you think some would do well to just be kind of,
well, post game has zero, the game's already over
for next game though? Like you can, if you're always getting,
if I'm talking, if I have to answer a question after we win a game, how the hell is that impacting me 48 hours later?
If you lose a game though,
how is that impacting me 48 hours later? If you want to be good in sports, who cares? That's like saying, if any relationship you're in, someone asks you to, hey, Clark, today I didn't like how you talked to me. So now for the next 2 days of your life, you're like, oh, geez, I don't know how to act around the person. No, it's like, guess what? I got to talk better and I move on. So no, the biggest joke in sports is people think like, go like the ones who are like, oh, I can't speak on game day. Oh, really? Well, we've talked to mental coaches who tell me it's physically impossible to get in the zone 10 hours before a game. So how does an interview at 11 in the morning impact you playing at 7 o'clock at night? The answer is it doesn't. You've created some ridiculous notion, or you're just a dick and you don't want to talk. Because trust me, both can be true at different times. So no, I don't I think it's important. And it's more now, it's important if you get asked good questions. I'm a firm believer 50% of the interview is on me. When I'm interviewing someone one-on-one, rarely will I say a guy's a terrible interview because I'm like, maybe I asked terrible questions that day. So now, if I interview a person multiple times, I can tell some people, guess what? They're not going to be great spokespeople. Doesn't matter. Some are introverts, some are extroverts, some are going to trust you, some aren't going to like it. That's okay. So you learn. I don't keep banging my head against the wall and go and talking to a player in the room if I know they're terrible at it. Whereas there's others that are fantastic. And so then I actually have to avoid going to them too often because, there's not much else said. And I know if I ask him an average question, he's going to give me a probably above average answer.
Who's been your favorite Oiler over the years for a quote?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's one. There's
or who are the greats?
There's lots of different ones for different reasons, right? I actually always enjoyed interviewing Pronger because he kept you on your toes, right? Like Pronger would, Chris and I actually get along really well because Chris, early on, I learned if he could intimidate you, he would, right? He would just try to test people, and some people could stand up to him and some wouldn't, right? And so him and I always got along fine. I never had an issue with him. And like I called him the human rake and he thought it was funny, right? Like he's got a good sense of humor. So I always liked Pronger because if you asked a good question, he could give you a good answer. I always felt, other guys that I thought were good interviews over the years. Sean Horkoff was someone who could give you something that was good. Steve Stais was actually pretty good, right? Like if you wanted to go into a topic, he wouldn't shy away from like trying to explain what you're trying to do defensively. So I always appreciate that from him. Ed Hervey, when he's a player, for sure, with football. Bruce Beaton's probably one of my favorite players ever to interview, like just because he taught me a lot about the offensive line because I knew nothing.
Who's in the room now you like to go to for a quote?
Geez, I lost a lot of the guys. Connor Brown was really good. Leon's good in a one-on-one situation. In a scrum, it's almost like I don't want to waste my time. Honestly, like it's not personally on me. It's just he doesn't like scrums. I get it, right?
They're just so on guard, right?
Well, because if you get going and you have one or two questions and you're rolling, now you want a third, but now someone else has to ask a question and just completely derails it. So, Ekholm's pretty good to talk with. Well, lots of guys like I actually really enjoyed Jeff Skinner. Both goalies are fine to me. Like compared to lots of goalies, like Skinner and Pickard, all day I'll talk to those guys.
They seem to give really genuine answers, both the goalies. That's kind of what I was leading towards. Like Skinner, especially, like he puts his current games in context when he's coming off a cold snap or when he gets hot and everybody's chanting his name. Like he seems capable of putting everything kind of in perspective.
Oh no, like there's a guy that you talk about being mentally tough, right? Like you're at a position that's pretty hard. You make a mistake, it's noticeable. When the defenseman or forward make a mistake that's equally bad, if it doesn't end up in the back of the net, it's not talked about as much. The other guy actually for a newcomer, Jake Wallman was quite good. But Trent Frederick might be, well, him or Hyman. They're probably the two politest guys in the room. If you have to go like genuine, like just polite human interactions, those two are probably like, and there's lots of nice guys, but those two might be the nicest.
Zach Hyman strikes me as the kind of guy that will smile and then cross-check your head off your shoulders. Just because he's smiling doesn't mean that he's happy.
Yeah, like it's a little thing. Like Zach says, you're like, and it's anybody who reads a book about communication. Like Zach, when you say, and he says hello, he says your name. Say the person's name after you say hello and watch the different response you get. It's just like, okay, like the person's attentive, right? And Hyman's doesn't surprise me that he owns a junior A team and has had success in other businesses. When you see how he interacts with lots of people, I see and Trent Frederick, who I didn't know from a hole in the head, and just my first interaction, my first interview with him, I was just like, oh, guy's pretty good. Like just as willing to try to give you something. Like he'll try to give you an answer rather than just the generic ones, right?
That's why he got 8 years.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Who knows? So yeah, maybe that's why they kept it going. So, hey, Gregor, which media one have you ever laughed at in a scrum when other guys get into it? Have you ever gotten into it with a player? Oh yeah, at times. The Montoya Rashog one's funny to me. That one. Well, I always laughed at Rashog's answer with McTavish. When, God, we had the clip for a long time. And something about, hey, do you want to? And then he asked the question exactly what McTavish said. It was so funny. George Larac, there was a big misunderstanding. George, somebody had said something on our station. It wasn't me, but one of George's friends had texted him saying this was said about him. And when I was in the locker room, he thought it was me. And he comes over and he's all in my face. I'm like, George, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And like, I could tell he was visibly upset. And like, he had his skates on. Like, he came over and I'm like, George, I don't know what you're talking about. And then their P guy had come out. He goes, you got the wrong guy. So, and then George, like, we laughed about it later, but in the moment, I was like, yeah, is this guy going to punch me right now? That probably won't end well for me. Like,
what was George Larac on his skates mad at you in that moment?
Because someone had used the term monkey.
Uh-oh.
But it wasn't how it was said, was never what he was told by, because he got it secondhand information, right? But it wasn't even me that said it. So I was like, dude, first of all, you got the wrong person. And so, because I had to go back and get the clip, and I was like, and I got him the clip, and I'm like, hey, here's what was said.
But having one of the most intimidating players in NHL history that mad at you that close, you're like, oh, I see why he's an enforcer.
Funny enough, the biggest one I ever got into the locker room wasn't even with a player. It was me and Ray Ferraro. and Ray and I, we laugh about it later on. But I didn't really know Ray that well because it was kind of early on, and he was back when Ray was on Sportsnet. He was doing this. And so in the old Oilers room, you walk down and then the room went to the left and it opened up. And so McTavish would always do his press conference right at the bottom in front of the stick rack. That's just where they did it. And then when it was over, sometimes you'd walk over to the left and he would kind of, if guys still want to ask him some questions, you would. And so I literally moved over there and I kind of slid in front of Ray and I did not see Ray Ferraro. Like, I don't know and I still believe he came in later. Right. And he's a short guy. And so when I said, Ray, I didn't see you there. He's like, whoa, you're making a short joke. Oh, man. And I was like, no. So it was a lot of bleep use between the two of us. And yeah, that was probably the most heated because Ray gets heated. And then I'm like, well, I'm not necessarily, I don't have the best, I'm not overly calm either, as you can attest to. So yeah, it was, so we laugh about it later on, but funny, that was probably the most like really got into it. Draisaitl and I had an FU one too, to each other. And only because I walked in the room and something had happened the day before, something was written. And I just happened to be the first one in the room. And I walked into the room and Draisaitl sees people coming and he looks right at me and goes, you guys are bleeping idiots. Right. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Right. And so I said, dude, if you have a problem with someone, great, but don't take it out on me. And him and I had a real mature conversation. Like, I don't hold it against guys. Like, you can't in this business, just like in life. Think about your guy friends who some of your best friends at times you've gotten like, screw you, right? And happens. And so, and Lee and I ended up having a real good conversation about it afterwards, right? I just said, hey man, like, I get it. Scrums suck. I don't like them. But if you're mad at someone, it can't be mad at the whole group. Not fair.
Is there a better way to talk to players in pro sports than what we're doing currently? Like, does it have to be a scrum in the dressing room or at a table?
But it's not always a scrum. There's only some that are scrums. There's one-on-one. You can get one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just, you're not going to get, you can't, everybody can't have a one-on-one with Connor McDavid every day. He's going to be doing media for 2 hours. So I get it. Right. So you get like, I probably get 2, maybe 3 one-on-ones with McDavid or Draisaitl all year. And I'm like, that's fine. Because when you get it, you got to make sure it counts. That's all. So I don't know. I think it's like, I look at like anytime an NHL player complains about having to do media, I'm like, do you guys look at the NBA? First of all, they got half the players. When you're a superstar in the NBA, you're doing a 10, 15-minute interview before every game, every practice, and again afterwards.
Every practice too?
Yes, because they have limited players, and they don't care. But then the NHL guys got to talk every 3 days, and I'm like, give me a break. So like, I don't have much empathy when you compare to what they do in the NBA. Like, look at LeBron James. LeBron James is like the biggest superstar in North America for the last 15 years, for sure. There's no debate on that, right? Like globally, definitely, right? And this guy is sitting there and people are trying to dissect everything he says. You don't have ESPN talking about Connor McDavid's talk nearly as much as you do LeBron James. Heck, not even football, because football is only on for 4 months a year, right? NBA guys are there from September until June. And when you're the superstar and you're in a market in LA, you're going to ask all the time. Heck, when he was in Cleveland, it was no different. And so all the times that people are trying to trip you up, and he did it. And I'm like, the NHL guys look and say, hey, you guys aren't on the level financially of the NBA. But, and you're complaining that you have to talk to the media for 5-8 minutes a day? Like, boo-hoo. I don't have any empathy for that. Don't say you want more, but then you don't want to do it, because everything LeBron says gets pumped out and you're giving your fans more and more information. That's what it is. You're a conduit to the fans. It's not about me personally. I know that. It's never about me. My job is to ask questions that I think fans are going to be interested in the answer to. That's my job, right? Or now, not always. Like I think about myself, but I'm a sports fan, so I'm like, hey, what I think is interesting. Someday someone think, well, I don't find that interesting. No problem. But majority of time, I take the most pride, and I think I'm a good interviewer. So, but I don't have much empathy for someone complaining that that's your job. You have to talk to the media for 8 minutes a day. Like, trust me, I work in the oil field for a long time. We want to talk about jobs that are really hard, like really hard, or be a teacher, right? Be a janitor. Like I go down the list of jobs that are tough. 8 minutes a day talking to the media. That's the easiest. Even if it's annoying, it's 8 minutes annoying. How many minutes of a day do you think can be annoying for a teacher?
There's only 8 minutes of availability?
Oh, if they do a scrum and longer than 8 minutes.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. It's like for one player, right? Like very rarely will he have an interview longer than that.
Is there rules like you have to be out of the room by a certain time, or how does it work?
Well, you can't just sit in there forever. No, there's like from the time the players come off the ice, like I know, hey, I would, if it was me having beat on the media side, I would love to go be a media guy for a team and say, this is how we're going to run it. And I think it's going to be way more effective. The best situation I've ever seen was how the Eskimos, how the Elks used to do it. So the room was open for an hour a day from noon till 1. The quarterback always spoke, oh, by the way, every day at 15 after. If you were late as the media guy, sucks to be you, right? If you wanted to get in, now the quarterback doesn't have anything new every day, but it was the quarterback. He was the big player, so he spoke every day. If you wanted him some minutes, 2 minutes, some was 15, right? That's how it was. The players didn't have to be in the room the whole hour, but they had to be available at some point. So they had kind of walk in, someone go lift weights for 20 minutes, do whatever. But you could go over and you could sit down, and you could talk to a player. Now, there's 50 guys in the room, so it's a little bit better. But I thought it doesn't have to be an hour. You could make that 20 minutes. What if no one talks to Bob? Like, trust me, if Bob's sitting over there, I'm a smart media guy. Everybody's over Connor McDavid today. I'll go sit down and I'll go talk to Bob, the defenseman. I'll get a really good story out of it, right? And you'll actually get better stories, and you'll get more stories, and be better for your fan base. Because nowadays it's like 3 or 4 players are available. Doesn't matter if there's 10 media people or 40 media people. Well, I don't think that's good. If you're asking my honest opinion on it, I don't think that's the way I would do it. I think there's way better ways to go about it. But a football room with way more personalities and way more people just gives you more options. So quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Shen Peng will join us next. An Edmonton Oiler. Another one you said goodbye to, Oiler fans. We'll tell you who next.
Some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500 Sports. Every single one on the lot is discounted by a whopping $14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 Sports to choose from with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all $14,000 off the ticket price. Get down there and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Did you wake up this morning and think,
I want to be a used RV salesman. If you're like most people, the answer is no. But if you want to sell your quality used RV yourself, then a used RV salesman is what you are.
Welcome to your new job.
That's right, Bob. Put it up on all the best websites. Wait for the phone to ring and be ready day or night, weekday or weekend. Drive out to the storage lot for every random tire kicker who calls and hope that what you have is exactly what they want.
There's an easier way to do this, Rick.
That's right, Bob. You could bring it to No Bull RV. We love selling used RVs, and the customers are already here. Commercials like this bring them in by the hundreds. All you need to do is cash the check when it leaves our lot. Used RV salesman is not what you wanted to be when you woke up this morning. And if it was, well, I think you better come out here and apply for a job.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
$4.29. Jason Gregor, Wanya Gretz, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. A lot of text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, look at the Russian media guy interview with Pod Coles and more insights than that than, and he's, well, yeah, because A, it's in his native language, right? And B, it's one guy, 101, 100%, right? Now, I will say this about Vasily. I really enjoy talking to him. And for somebody who didn't speak English a few years ago, his English is damn good. And now I get that he's conscious of it, but I said, dude, your English is infinitely better than my Russian, which is nothing. Yeah. Right. But there's been times actually where I will try to translate a question at first with him. And then I just said, hey, and because sometimes you try to soften up a player. Not soften up's the wrong word, but you want to just sit down. Hey, how's it going? Try to get them rather than just sit down. Okay, boom. And you just ask a question. It doesn't work. Right. So lots of times when you, especially in an article like that, you might talk for 20 minutes and only use 4 minutes of the answers for your piece, right? Because you're able to, get more out of them, right? Because you're able to follow up with a question more. That's why one-on-one's better because you can have a direction. And once you start listening to someone's answers, oh, this guy's going to go down a path I wasn't even planning on. Well, now it's way better. Right? Like the number one thing in interviewing that's overlooked is the best interviewers are the best listeners. You got to listen to what the guys or gals saying and then feed off of that. Right? Like I don't come in and have pre-scripted questions. Right? Like when I first started, I had a few and you have a plan. Hey, I'd like to talk about this, but then you better have a few other ideas in your head in case, you want to go somewhere. But usually if a player gives you something in the answer, you can take that and move on and expand on it. And it works way better. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, ever do an interview with one of the trainers from the horse track or a jockey from Danny? Danny, you know what? I have. I've always been intrigued by it. My grandpa loved horse racing, so I went to it a few times. I've never been good at it. Like I've gone to the track, the Canadian Derby for years. I loved it. The more so I like dressing up. I like the attire you get to wear at the Derby. And I actually got to do a race because as a farm kid, I know how to. So I raced and dominated. By the way, won pretty handily in that, which was fun. But learning all about it, like being a farm kid, I understand like certain stuff, but there was way more that goes into it. So it's always intriguing. So I love interviewing guys from different sports, no question about that. So we got LT. All right, we'll switch things up. Actually, we're gonna go with LT this hour. We'll go with Shen Peng in the next hours. We get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Discovery Day sales event continues on till the end of this month. You can lease or finance a Volvo XC90 plug-in hybrid, 1.49%, or you can save up to $7,500 right now. That is a steal of a deal. Check it out, Volvo Cars Edmonton. Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon to 2 here, joins us. LT, how you doing?
I'm very well. Beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous. Enjoyed listening to you. Like all the talk about Ike Howard and what might happen in the fall. It's going to be a fun year for the Edmonton Oilers fans.
What is your expectations of him?
Well, I think he'll play. I think both he and Savoy will be on skill lines at times, certainly in the preseason. we'll see where they land. What I'm sure the coaching staff is hoping for is that, Zach Hyman's back right away, and Nuge and Hyman with McDavid can run as the top line. I don't discount Podkolzin and the good work he did. I think you'll see at times both he and Savoy in the top 6. I don't think that people should expect it all of the time. And I think that when you're looking at young players, what you're hoping is that they grab some chem. The good thing for him and for Savoy is the third line center might be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and that's a really good way for a rookie to break in. The Oilers are gifted with great centers, and that will really help both of these young players.
Yeah, see, I'm a big believer in Nugent-Hopkins. I think now you can play him a few games here or there, but I think he's better as a center now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's better as a center, but also, Al, just flat out not productive enough to be the number one left winger on Connor McDavid's line.
Well, and that's I wrote about this in The Athletic today about, with McDavid, this is with Connor McDavid at 5-on-5. He was 1.5 points per 60. Jason, they can't afford that. They can't afford to have McDavid play. I love Nuge. I mean, I think that every Oilers fan who's ever watched him, anybody who's observed him, any media, he is such a class guy. But this is a real thing. And, I think that's why Frederick's here. I think that's why Mangiapane is here. And I do think, I'm not saying that Frederick or Savoy are going to land on the McDavid line all year, but I think they will get looks in preseason and during the year. And eventually, one of those two is going to play consistently in the top 6. I don't know if it's this coming year, but I suspect it will at times be. And we'll just have to wait and see. There's a lot we don't know about Ike Howard. He hasn't played pro hockey yet.
No.
So we'll see. But he's, I talked to Scott Wheeler this week, and he loves his speed. He loves his shot. I talked to Corey Pronman, and he likes his passing ability. So seems to me like, he's got a lot of skill. Obviously, the Oilers like him a lot. They gave up a lot to get him. I think that they should be pretty happy and excited about him. But let's not crown him a 50-goal scorer as a rookie, because that is extremely rare.
LT, you know that I love to get excited about Oilers underdog players early on, despite the fact that you just said don't get too high on them too early. Do you give me the green light to get high on them pretty early on?
Well, one thing I'll say about you is you at least waited until Eberle scored a goal in your presence to go buy a jersey. That took 11 minutes out of your life that you were patient. So I think, what I really think is that this is a recognition by the Oilers that they needed to go out and get some help. They did with Mangiapane, they did with Frederick, and now they need to add around because they need young players. And Frederick and Savoy, I think are going to be the future. They don't have no disrespect to Tomasek or any of those other guys, but they don't have 21-year-olds hanging around who look like they're going to be NHL players. So I think they're the future. I don't know when it'll arrive. I was looking at, just at the first 10 games for a lot of great Oiler players over the years. I think Taylor Hall had 5 points. Glenn Anderson had 5 points in his first 10 games. I think Curry had 8 or 9. But it's possible both of these guys play 10 games and have a goal and an assist, and people should be prepared for that. It doesn't mean they're failures. It just may mean they're not getting power play time. They're playing on the third line, and eventually they'll get their chance. And by the end of the year, I think at least one of them will have 10 to 15 goals, and maybe both.
Well, if they have 10 to 15 goals, if they're playing on the first line, that's not good enough. That's, to me, last year, the Oilers, Leon Draisaitl was able to score 50 goals with his two wingers not getting many assists, never mind goals, right? And so I look at the Oilers, and what the regular season to me is going to be about is developing a little bit more consistent scoring on the wings in your top 6, not named Zach Hyman. That has to happen this regular season, right? It doesn't win you maybe it can help you and get home ice advantage, great. But when I look at things that have been underwhelming the last few years, Al, in Edmonton, it's been the production of the top 6 wingers outside of Hyman.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's why I think Nuge is a pressure point. But I mean, for me, I think Mangiapane might get that look. You mentioned Henrique at times. I don't think it necessarily immediately goes to a rookie. And we'll see where he slots. I think he's going to get preseason time with McDavid. And if he has to, remember when Yamamoto came up, was it January 2020?
Yeah.
Just before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And he had Draisaitl just had tremendous chemistry. That could happen, but I don't think people should count on it happening for either Savoy or Ike Howard. It could happen, and they're going to give them a look because I think that, reading the tea leaves here, there's going to be an opportunity for both. They like their team, but they want to have some speed and youth on the wings, and I that's understandable. But I think it'll be less power play time than one would expect from a team like when Taylor Hall was a rookie. He got lots of power play time. I don't necessarily think these chaps are going to get a ton of power play time, at least at the start of the year.
See, it's interesting you mention that because I actually believe this year, the Oilers' number one power play unit, I think we're going to see a reduction in their ice time. Now, it's not going to go to 50-50. It's not going to be a minute and a minute. I don't see it being that, but I could see it being like a minute 20 and 40. And so Matt Savoy and Ike Howard, both of them are offensive-minded players. There's no doubt about it. You throw in, if Nugent Hopkins on the first unit, then you throw in Adam Henrique, and who knows? Like Thomas Ek's the biggest wild card for me. He's a grown man. He's the one guy who's played against men. Yeah, I get it's not in the NHL. I don't care. To me, as much as we look at Savoy and Howard, I won't be surprised if Thomas Ek is the one who's better prepared early on to help your team.
Amen to that. I mean, he's 29 years old. He led the Swedish Hockey League in points. That's a really good league. You could probably say it's the third best pro league, behind the NHL and KHL. And I'm never sure about the quality of the KHL anymore. But it's a really good league, and he played well. And he, when I was talking to Wheeler, I really wanted to know about foot speed. And he said that, Howard can wheel. And I like Savoy's skating a lot. Now, I don't know about Thomas Ek. That's the one worry that I would have about him. But we'll find out all of this in training camp. But I think at 5-on-5 scoring, because I don't know how much power play time they'll get, I think Howard's going to be able to score goals. And I'm reading a lot of things online about, he's shy to go to tough areas. I feel like the Oilers would have scouted him heavily. They would know him well. They have a really good analytics department. I think fans should be a little more bullish than they're being right now on Ike Howard. He's a good player. I think Savoy is too. I'm not saying these guys will pop. I'm really trying hard not to say that. But what Stan Bowman did, he didn't have anybody he could trade for an established winger. He didn't have any free agent money that he could go do it. So he went and got a guy that his scout said can play. And I think that's encouraging, and not just for this coming year, but for years to come, because, everybody's talking about the questions about Howard and maybe about Savoy too. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has some questions about him that need to be answered in the fall too, about his ability to score on the wing. So in a real way, Ike Howard at one end of the age spectrum and Nuge at the other are going in with question marks about their scoring ability, and they're both real, and we're going to find out.
Yeah, no, Al Mitchell joins us. Well, and the other thing is, I don't really worry too much about foot speed. Were the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk isn't a burner, right? I don't think Rodriguez is a burner. Anton Lundell's a good skater, but these guys like Howard's quick, Savoy's quick. Thomas Ek, honestly, Corey Perry might have been the slowest player in the NHL last year. He scored 10 goals in the playoffs, 19 now he knew how to go to the net. Like, to me, the one thing that will stand out is, can Thomas Ek, how he can make the team easily is if he shows a willingness to go to the net and create traffic in front of the net. Because when I watched Florida, the biggest difference between Edmonton and Florida's game was how much havoc they created around the net. How many times did Bobrovsky see the puck? Almost all of them. He barely had any screens. They had guys stand in front of the net. The puck gets released. Now they're on the side of the net. Not good. And funny enough, Corey Perry was kind of one guy who has a reputation of being good in front of the net, but he was one who was moving outside of the net a lot. And that's an area I think the Oilers, regardless of who's on their team, they need to be a little bit better at making it harder on the opposing goaltender. The numbers don't lie. Yeah, they led the NHL in 5-on-5 shots, and they had one of the worst shooting percentages. Because if the goalie can see the puck regularly and he can see the release regularly, Al, he's got a better chance to make the save. That's just fact.
Sure, and that we've seen it in Edmonton. Patrick Maroon was like people maybe look at him as a guy that the Oilers paid a big price for. He was a deadline addition. That the acquisition was announced after the trade deadline. He came here and what did he do? He went to the net with his stick on the ice, and he was a big body, and it worked really well when he played with McDavid. He basically took Lucic's job even after Lucic was here, and that's available. And like I don't know enough about Ike Howard's game to know if he's going to be that player or he's going to be able to find quiet ice with a quick release. The Oilers do not have that. That'll be a nice addition. But there's, we've seen Lucic and Yamamoto in this town play well with the high-end skill centers. Your size and your speed doesn't really have as much impact as your desire and your willingness to go to those areas. Yamamoto was, and so is Patrick Maroon. Now, we'll find out in the fall. I think Oilers fans should be encouraged. This is a guy who's going to be in the mix, and he has a bright future, as does Savoy. And, man, I'm telling you, I look at the prospects closely. The Oilers did not have an Ike Howard coming down the pipe.
No.
And I like Sam O'Reilly a lot, but he was not the same kind of offensive player. This is a first-shot scorer. That's a big damn deal. The Oilers didn't have one. They've got one now. I don't know how much he's going to play with the top two centers, but even if he's on the third line and he can pop a few goals, it's going to make a difference. The Oilers, they haven't had very many of those guys. I remember when Iro Pakarinen came up and he scored a goal from 2 or 3 goals from range, and people were like, "Oh my God," because he hadn't seen it in so long. This guy can score from range. He's had 26 goals in a really good league in like 52 games. I think people should be encouraged by this acquisition. We'll see. I'm reading a lot of negative stuff online, but the rubber hits the road in training camp. And I think he's going to get a big push, but we'll see.
Whoa. Wow. You're telling me you're reading negative comments online from anonymous people? What kind of world do you live in, Al? Because I never see that. All I see is positivity from anonymity online. Can't believe you're seeing that.
It's funny because there was a first blush excitement about the trade, and now it seems like there's oh my God, they've made a massive mistake, and I guess that's part of being a fan. And really, I think it does excite the fan base a little bit because, as you mentioned earlier, there's Tomasek. I think Mangiapane was a really good signing. There's a few new pieces here, and people are saying, well, how do they replace 80 goals? Well, we'll find out, but I honestly don't know that we could name one line for sure on opening night because of Hyman's injury. But this is not a set team right now, and there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of challenges. And if Hyman's out, then there's going to be a really different wrinkle on opening night than we've seen before. But that's the exciting part of the game, and I'm really looking forward to Ike Howard. Very much looking forward to seeing him play.
Al, enjoy your weekend. What's your thoughts on the Elks? What's your expectation against the Lions on Sunday?
I think they win. I think this is going to be a big, big game for this franchise, for the organization, for the ownership. They win, and now it's on. And I understand Calgary's, a little better than maybe we thought, and we know Saskatchewan, Winnipeg are what they are. But you'd be tied with BC. The crossover is already in play, and I do not remember the last time the Elks started well and then looked good as we head towards the latter part of the first half. They did some good things in the first 3 losses, but they won the 4th game. They win this one, and then I think we're going to be talking about them in a different way on Monday. I believe that will happen.
Al, have yourself a great weekend. We'll chat with you on Monday.
All right. Just let me know when you buy the Ike Howard jersey, okay?
I would buy one right now.
Number 53, by the way.
Jeff Skinner isn't even cold yet. We can't just be buying new jerseys.
Okay, well, let me know, though, okay?
Count on it, LT.
All right, buddy.
Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions. We got Spec, Champagne, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Your Edmonton Elks face the BC Lions this Sunday at 5. Join the prehistoric party presented by Playworks. We're bringing back the Dino Nuggets at concession, Baby Dinosaur Crawl, and bigger, better T-Rex Combine at halftime. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
Mr. Allen Auctioneering's next public unreserved internet automotive RV auction is Saturday at 9 a.m. Featuring pickups, cars, minivans, SUVs, and recreational vehicles selling at 10 a.m. All being sold to the highest internet bidder. View on site, bid online. Info at maauctions.com.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17. It combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and grout, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit bashawconcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
Race into adventure this summer with your friends and family and register for the Sourdough Raft Race. Build your raft and race down the North Saskatchewan River in true sourdough style. Your $10 per person entry fee gets you breakfast by Friesen Brothers, souvenirs, and a day of wild fun on the river. It's the best summer adventure ever. Sunday, August 17th. Register you or your team now at sourdoughraffrace.com. Sponsored in part by Oil City Cranes. That's sourdoughraffrace.com.
Hey everybody, it's Team Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. Hope you are having an unreal day. Jason Gregor, Wayne Gratz, Declan Kruger with you as it's time for 5 questions. 5 questions for those of you who are bilingual. Brought to you by The Brick, where the biggest appliance sale in Canada is ongoing right now. You can save a G-note when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances, and you can also get up to 60% off clearance appliances and below cost scratch and dent. But that's in-store only. You got to see it. Usually it's like a small dent. You're like, what? Need a magnifying glass to see it? But it's there. You get a huge rebate. It's unreal.
You're going to dent that fridge anyways when you take it home.
Exactly. Oh, dude, honestly, when we moved into our place, so I have the cupboard that you lift it up, and so it was open, and I opened my freezer, boom, dented it like probably a month in.
If you get a dented fridge, you don't even feel bad when you dent it eventually.
Because usually a lot of times it's on like the side.
Totally.
And so if you like for your stove, it's dented on the side. Who cares? No one sees that anyway. Even if it's dented on the front, like who's really looking at your stove? They're looking what's in the stove, not what's on the stove. Let's get the deck.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. Elks game on Sunday at home against the Lions. Can we have a score prediction and a bold prediction for this one?
Well, I hit my bold prediction of the return TD. So what would be bold in that? Going back to back would be pretty bold, but I will. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the Elks have a trick play on like a fake punt or a fake field goal.
Score?
Hopefully the weather holds up, but I'm going to say the Elks are victorious because I've actually picked every game right so far this year. I'm going to say the Elks win 29-21.
I too think the Elks are going to win 36-23, and I think there will be back-to-back punt returns. Why not?
All right, question number 2. What are your thoughts on David Peltier being signed on as a full-fledged NHL assistant coach?
I'm not surprised that him and Glenn Galton, you worked together for like being together in Edmonton for 7 years. Like he's been in Edmonton for 11 years, has Dave. So he'll go there as assistant coach. You learn a lot in that. Like I'll be curious what his role is. We're hoping to have Dave on the show actually next week, so we'll talk to him about that. And it doesn't surprise me, right? Like I'm still thinking he's probably going to be like assistant coach, skating coach, or whatever, but probably just have more responsibility.
I don't think people give enough credit necessarily to figure skaters or their skating prowess, but those folks train a lot and have remarkable skating in many instances. I will tell you this though, Declan, it won't be the answer you expected, but David Peltier moved into my childhood home and completely renovated it and eliminated my childhood bedroom, and I will never forgive him. And this might be one of the last times we talk about him before he goes to Dallas. So I'd just like to go on record again saying, no, that wasn't necessary.
Always a tough one. Question 3. Reports that the LeBron era in LA may be coming to an end, so the Luka era can begin. Where would you like to see LeBron get traded to if it does in fact happen at the deadline next year?
Now, who is speculating that he's going to get dealt?
It was on ESPN. It was Brian Windhorst and Ramona Shelburne, I believe.
And they're speculating that, so they don't think Luka can really be the guy until LeBron's gone? I think the thought process, which is correct, honestly, is that they're both just too ball dominant. And quite frankly, Luka's better than LeBron right now, but LeBron is still LeBron. Like, how do you go to LeBron and tell him you're not the guy anymore? Even though Luka is objectively better right now. But don't you need two guys? I guess you always need like a 1 and a 1B. And I don't know. If LeBron wants to win, maybe he'll be a 1B. It'd be fascinating to see. I'll tell you, if LeBron's available at the deadline, there'll be no shortage of teams interested to want to acquire him, because there's a lot of teams that just don't have a guy as good as him. That's just a fact. So where would he go? That is a really good question. Like, I know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Denver, because Jokic can really move the ball. So I will say Denver, and this is their way to try to get Jokic to stay. Although Jokic not signing an extension was only because he knows he can sign a bigger extension next year.
Now, do you think that they're just too similar of players, Declan? Is that why they can't like Kobe and Shaq it?
They're both just ball dominant.
Right.
Like they need the ball in their hands to be able to be effective. Now, they're different type of ball dominant players, but even when LeBron can play off ball a little bit more in these late stages of his career, but Luka, if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, like he ain't doing anything. But when he does have the ball in his hands, he's the best player we've ever seen. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I could see him going back to Cleveland where it all began, and even bring Bryce and Bronny and the whole rest of the band.
That's what I was thinking too. Question number 4. What do you think Ryan Reeves' time and role in San Jose will look like? This was a debate on the lowdown today.
That's a tough one. Like, he's not going to get a lot of high impact minutes. He's riding shotgun for the kids, but like, is that to get to the floor, or what are we doing here?
Well, Jeff Skinner, they had to get to the floor. They're there anyway. Honestly, you've got a very young team, and the Sharks got pushed around a lot last year. So there's two things at play here. Reeves comes in. He's got a real big personality. He's actually a really fun guy to be around, right? Guys really like him, right? He knows what his role is. He still believes, and he doesn't want to just play 4 minutes a night, right? So it's not like their team is blessed with a really great third line where you're like, well, geez, we can't really play our fourth line. So, he'll probably play 8 minutes, maybe 9. He's a decent skater. He's not a great defensive player, but the Sharks aren't like, are the Sharks? Well, geez, we really need a fourth line winger who can break even. Like, I don't think that's their major thing. I think they want someone around who's good in the room. He's really good at making young guys feel comfortable, not just on the ice, because the game's not that physical anymore, but there's still the odd game where you need that. And, hey, having a guy like that does make you feel a little bit better. It's just talk to anybody who's played. Right? I remember talking to Eberle and Hall. Like, first of all, they were almost scared spitless when they saw Ivanins and McIntyre fight in their first ever NHL game. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Like, these are men now. Like, these are like, they're not even men. They're like Superman because they're so two huge humans. But they said having that guy around, like, you do feel like, hey, if I get in trouble, like, you know what, we do have a guy, because Reeves is vocal. He'll be on the bench, and some guys want him to. He'll be like, hey, you're not touching. Like, calm down. Now, you don't have to say that very often. So I'll just say his role is going to be personality in the room, play 8 or 9 minutes, and stand up for his teammates when it's necessary, which won't be that often.
Question number 5. If you could level up any aspect of yourself, so strength, looks, intelligence, etc., but you had to decrease another aspect of yourself by that same amount, which aspects would you increase and decrease?
If I tried to increase my looks by 1%, the Supreme Court would step in and say, Wanye, you're already in the top 1% of looks. You're asking for too much. I would triple my intelligence and reduce my beatboxing by 66%.
That's not even, though. You don't even know how to beatbox. So maybe you should, maybe you should improve your mathematics. So I have to increase them and decrease 2 things equally. God. I would like to increase my balance because it stinks. So, yeah, I don't love my balance. And I would, I guess, decrease my temper. That's what I would like. Decrease my temper and increase my balance.
Beatboxing unchanged.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, I'm not a beatboxer.
Right.
So
Sure.
I don't want to be a beatboxer.
Okay.
So I don't need to be a beatboxer. Everything else, like, you know what? Strength, I'd feel like I was on steroids if you just got it naturally. Like, you want to work to enhance your strength. And that's what you do. Like, reading all the things. You want to live. It's not so much living longer, it's living better. And the big one is health, lifting weights. I don't lift heavier weights, but I just lift weights. And like today I ran hills for the first time ever in a lot. Well, not ever, but in quite a while. My wife and I went out to 7 Hills in St. Albert, and it's a pretty, walk up and down a few times and then run up and down a few times. It's like, all right, this is, we'll see how my legs feel tomorrow. Cause you can bike and get into a certain routine and do squats and whatever, but running hills and running stairs is different. Like, what are the stairs just on, starts with the W, somebody on the west end, you enter them off of 159th Street off the White Mud and you go south there, and man, they are no joke. Like, so I'm thinking I might try to implement them like once a week into my routine now. See how that happens.
What about you, Declan?
I would be okay with being a little less funny. I'm still pretty funny.
Clearly.
And then I'd fix my teeth. Throw that to my teeth.
What?
Well, just my one tooth. Yeah.
Well, it's called Invisalign or braces. Like, you can do it.
I turned down braces as a kid because the dentist was like, "You're gonna have to do some upkeep here," and I was like, "I'm not doing that."
Like, what do you have? A snarl tooth?
Yeah. Just one on my left side.
So it's like a summer tooth. Well, summer here, summer there.
It's a sum tooth.
You turned down the dentist, and now you're wishing your teeth were straight.
Horrible. My parents should have just forced me. Like, I was a kid. I didn't know. They should have just said, "Declan, you're 11. You actually don't get to make these decisions."
Yeah. How are you overruling the dentist?
The dentist was like, "You're gonna have to do some work here."
Like, what would you have to do though? I don't get it. Like floss and brush.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what
he
kind
said
of
like
extra
that.
work are we doing?
It was like brushing after every meal, and it was like tightening it and stuff, and like some with bands.
Oh, like your braces? Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, but it's short-lived pain. Like lots of kids get through braces.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
Josh has got his hand up over there. He's
I
a
wish
brace
I
guy.
did it. Now
it wasn't going to be like you didn't remember that some of the kids, like, you know what, you're just dealt a tough hand. Everybody has different hands are dealt. And the kids who had the big mouth thing, you know, when it had like the two kind of steel kind of coming out the side of their mouth. Like,
yeah.
Those are tough ones.
I don't think they do that quite as much anymore.
No, I think they probably got better advancements in it.
Invisalign is barely even like intrusive in your life.
No, but it
is because it's expensive, I guess. Yeah, but the thing is, it all depends how committed you are to it, right? Because I know people, I got Invisalign. I'm supposed to do it for a year, and they're on like year 2.5 because they don't wear it consistent enough, right? It's like anything. If you got to commit to it, and it's hard, right? Like that's why I always chuckle at people. Oh yeah, look at that guy or girl. They're taking pictures of themselves because they look good. I'm like, yeah, you know how much work it is. So that's kind of like their reward. So you know, it never bothers me if someone else is excited about what they're doing. If it doesn't impact my life, like I've never understood them. Oh, did you see the picture of Sarah, Sally, or Jim put? I'm like, what are you worried about? That's what I say. Like, how does that bother you? Well, you don't have to rub it in my face. I'm like, basically, you're telling me you don't like how you look, so you're mad that they look good. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
I remember when Tom Cruise got Invisalign, and I saw an interview where they said that he didn't like how his teeth lined up and his one front tooth is in the middle. Like his smile is now it's all I can see. It's all I can see on Tom Cruise is he's got a tooth right in the middle.
Yeah. See, I think I'm getting it right now because I talked to my dentist because I have one tooth and I was starting to get pain when I drink water. I'm like, and she's like, well, I got no cavities, and they couldn't figure out what it is. And I think your teeth are just your mouth's it's too tight in one area, so we need to stretch it out. So they think Invisalign will help that, and that'll because now it's like it's under pressure. So it's like, you know, all of a sudden I'll take a drink of water like once a week, and it's like,
oh,
but so I think I'm gonna get it.
Invisalign.
But then I'll be like, then I'm worried about like, and I asked her, I said, well, I'm on the radio. I don't want to be taught like you're Jaren. Like, I don't want that. She's like, no, if you took them off at 1:55 and put them in at 6 o'clock, you'd be okay.
Why don't you just get a diamond grill? Pop them all out.
Buddy,
anchored.
Yeah. I remember Ron Goldie, who played for the Elks. It's probably he had the biggest gold mouth ever.
Some people get a grill that you can like put in, but
Yeah,
some people get their teeth removed.
I'm not getting a grill.
No grill?
No grill, man. Like, come on.
I actually asked my dentist to pull my snaggle tooth and put a single veneer in.
Oh, no.
And he said no. So he overruled me.
Well, that would be a
when
little
I was-
bit more
when I was an
expensive, wouldn't
adult later in life.
Quick break. Let's get to Declan Kruger and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by EUL, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, one stop, ewel.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
One final from earlier in the majors today was the Guardians over the White Sox 4-2. More action will get going in just a minute's time here. Cubs and Yankees and Marlins and Orioles. Later on tonight at 8:05, it will be the Blue Jays in Sacramento taking on the Athletics. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Jays in that one. Edmonton Elks injury update ahead of the game on Sunday versus BC. Javon Leake was a full participant in practice today, while David Beard was limited. Both are available for the game on Sunday. Canadian defensive end Robbie Smith will be out. Edmonton Riverhawks opening up a new set tonight against the Port Angeles Lefties, and the Stingers also in action tonight out in Toronto against the Scarborough Shooting Stars. That one has a 5:30 p.m. tip-off. Wimbledon results from earlier in the day, in case you missed it, was Jannik Sinner in straight sets over 6th-seed Novak Djokovic and 2nd-seed Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets over the 5th-seeded Taylor Fritz. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Stingray All Good Vibes on Prime Video offers you thousands of concerts, karaoke songs, and relaxing nature scenes on demand. Benefit from the Prime Day promotion between July the 2nd to the 11th.
Let's go, girls.
Subscribe today to receive 2 months of service at 99 cents per month. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for concerts, karaoke, and more. Prime subscription is required.
The employee pricing event is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $12,000 off the 2025 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Bring power wherever you go with a 6.2-liter EcoTech V8 engine with dynamic fuel management technology. Bring style to the open road with a signature Denali Vader chrome grille and accents. And keep comfort top of mind with available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance capability. Employee pricing is on now. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Sports 14. Hot Salsa sent in a picture of Declan as Darla. You know, the rock and roll girl, Darla. You know, yeah, she has the red hair and then she's got the huge just brace face. Oh, Deck, that could be you, buddy. That could be you. Should be all over it. I love it. Welcome back to the Positive Friday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Lotto Max tonight. $70 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Jason Gregor, Wanya Gretz, Declan Kruger with you. Josh Fenrick running things at Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X as we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist, and they are hiring. If you want to work for a fantastic company, not only have a job that will help you get a career, they love promoting from within. Many of their top supervisors all started out and worked their way up, understand every level of business. You can apply today at gsconstruction.ca. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Beautiful day, man. It's Friday. Who's not doing great today, Jason? Tell me that.
That's true. It's hard not to. Well, somebody out there probably isn't having a great day. I don't know who it is, but hopefully if they aren't, their day will get better. But a few things to discuss on the front of the Oilers. Jeff Skinner, we're going to go to San Jose afterwards, signs a 1-year deal. The Sharks also got Reeves, so they're going to get to the floor. What do you think Jeff Skinner does? Their coach said they expect him to play in the top 6. They got some skilled guys there. Does Jeff Skinner get back to a 20-goal season this year in San Jose?
It'll depend on his usage. I think that if he plays, a regular shift for 82 games, yes, I do. I think he will score 20. He just never was fits and starts here, man. He was in the top 6. He was out of the top 6. He was in the press box. He was out of the press box. Like, he never got no one ever let him find a groove here, or he never earned a groove. What he didn't earn was the coach's trust here. And you can blame the coach. You can blame whoever you want to blame. The fact is, the coach never trusted the player enough. And that's why he's not coming back. So if he goes down there and gets the commensurate ice time of a guy that has his pedigree, yeah, he'll score 20 goals. Why won't he?
Yeah. No. Spec, we are talking about the Howard thing and the expectations and all of that for the players. Yep. So there's 3 new faces offensively: Howard, Savoy, Tomasek. Tomasek and Savoy are righties. Howard's a lefty. Which one are you most interested to watch next season?
Ooh, well, probably Howard, because I think I have a pretty good idea. We watched Savoy enough to I'm pretty confident in Savoy. I like his game. I think there's going to be a player there. At this point, I'll be surprised if he doesn't become a useful player. And I think it's about his ceiling with Savoy. How good a player, right? How many points? How many goals? That we don't know, but I like his game. I like the way he skates. I like the way he competes for a smaller guy. The guy with the giant high end here is Ike Howard. He's the guy that, you won the Hobey Baker. You've been a fantastic player at every level. I'm interested to see, Jason, we may not know even this year, but to me, does anyone have a higher ceiling than this guy in that group?
Well, Matt Savoy, man. Matt Savoy's a pretty gifted player, right? Like, he's the same draft year. Howard's a little bit bigger, sure. I'm not ruling out Matt Savoy's potential here. I'm not sure there's that much of a difference. Howard's the newest toy. I'm not necessarily sure he's the shiniest toy.
Okay. And as for Tomasek is a total coin flip for me, man. This guy could be Yuri Dopita, or he could be Peter Stastny. Like, I don't know what he's going to be. He's an older guy coming from Europe that's never played a pro game here. He could be gone by November, or he could be a good player. So I don't have a hot clue what we're getting out of Tomasek. Do you think that you even know a little bit what might happen with this guy?
No, honestly, and I'm trying to. I have an old mind. I'm like, hey, you know what? I look at his numbers. Like, I do know that for 2 years, teams have been trying to bring him over, right? Like, he led the league in scoring last year, led the league in goals the year before. So it's not just like a 1 year. Like, he's had 2 really good years, and I can understand where you're coming over at that age where everything's good where you're at. And you come over here and you want to challenge yourself, but you want to be in a good situation. Right? And so I think he becomes here. He looks and he's like, hey man, like, we got Zach Hyman on the right side. After that, it's wide open. Like, you got Savoy, you've got Tomasek, Trent Frederick. Now he can play the right side if need be, but he can play both, but he's not locked in at either one. But after that, Mangiapane's more of a lefty, and when he signed anyway, he wasn't here. Kasperi Kapanen is not a guy that I look at and say, oh man, like, he's a lock in your top 6 by any stretch, or even in your top 9. So I can see Tomasek. You pick Edmonton, you're an offensive-minded player who I understand, has a pretty good defensive acumen. You don't play in the Swedish Elite League spec without knowing how to play defense. That's just a fact, right? And so I'm very intrigued to see. I'm with you. I don't know. Like, I don't think he'll be Yuri Dopita, right? I think he'll be better than Gaetan Haas, right? Because I'm kind of going a little bit more recently, right? Like, Haas was really fast, just didn't have any hands. Tomasek has hands. And is he going to be able to just handle the game in a more confined space, really? That's, and I think, how quickly does he adapt?
And Yuri Dopita can size you back. Give him time. He still has something left in the tank.
Wait, who? Dopita?
Yuri Dopita. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I remember when Edmonton had Yuri Dopita, and it didn't work so well. And then Calgary brought in Rob Niedermeyer, and he was totally done, and he didn't help them either. And halfway through his season there, they started calling him Rob Dopita-meyer. Listen, I think the biggest thing with a guy like Tomasek too, you guys, is he's used to being really successful. He's, like you said, Jay, led the league in goals, led the league in points. He plays top minutes. He plays power play. They count on him in all the big situations. He's not getting that here.
Yeah.
And he's not going to lead any leagues here. And he's not going to score every second game here. Unless, like, if he does, I'd be happy to be wrong on that one. But the point is, older guys who are used to a certain amount of success and ice time and opportunity and situations, he's coming here and it's all about the change for Tomasek. So how's he handle that, right? I have no clue how he'll handle it, but that's going to be part of the deal with this guy.
Spec, the J streak ended on Wednesday. They go back at it tonight. We talked to Ben Nicholson, who's covers the Jays at Sportsnet. He's in there. That Oakland situation, Spec. They're playing in a minor league ballpark. They don't really even know, where they're going next year. Vegas hasn't. It's kind of a cluster what's happened to the A's, who obviously for a long time were a great organization that haven't been for quite some time. But what do you make of this Jays run and how the opportunity it is that this will continue?
Well, I think, listen, I'm looking. They got the Cubs are playing the Yankees right now, so you got to play everybody. We know that. That's how the schedule works. When you get a chance, when you go in to play the lowly A's, what are they calling them these days? Are they the California A's? Who are they? Are they the Sacramento A's?
No, I think it's Oakland. I don't even honestly know what they're called, to be honest. I don't think it's Oakland though. I think it's just the A's.
It's just the A's, yeah.
Yeah, the Athletics actually.
Okay,
just the
playing a
Athletics.
lousy A's. Got to make hay. I get how you just won 10 in a row. You won 10 out of 11, and I don't expect any team to win every night. But these are the games a good team wins. A good team cleans up on the A's because the A's aren't any good. You're going to get the Yankees soon. They are good. You're going to get series against Detroit and some good teams, and let's see how you do. But I look at this one right before the All-Star break. This is a small segment of your season, but I expect full compliance from the Blue Jays. This should be an important series for them. There's 3 wins here they could have.
And the Elks back at it. We do know that Javon Leake is going to play. Beard is listed as available. They got a bye week. He's got a calf injury. My gut tells me that we might not see him. Robbie Smith is out for sure on the D line for the green and gold. They're coming off a big win. They got BC, who is the lowest scoring team in the CFL thus far, not by a massive amount by any stretch, but still, they've struggled to put the ball in the end zone. You got a defense that's still waiting for its first turnover. Spec, what did you see last week in the Elks that you like and that makes you believe that maybe they could have a winning streak?
Well, I like their offense. We talked about that. I was talking with Eddie Steele this morning, and him and I are the same page. They got some big paychecks on that D line, right?
Oh yeah.
Jake Ceresna is one of the highest paid guys in the league. Who's the other guy on that D line?
Well, Robbie Smith, and he's banged up now.
Yeah. And he's not playing.
Yeah.
Okay. So my point would be, when the season started, the people that know, and I'm talking about watching the TSN panel and the CFL people, everybody talked this Edmonton defense up like it was going to be a game changer. It was this defense that was going to help them have a season this year that hasn't been like the last few years. That's how it was supposed to go. So let's go, boys. It's time to step up to the plate, is what I'm telling you. No turnovers, no picks. How many sacks? Not many. Get after it, right? It's time for this defense to earn their paycheck, show up and play ball, and pick up your game here, boys, because the offense is doing a good job. So it's pretty clear. If they had a defense that was clicking along as well as their offense, they'd be winning games. And it's time. We're 5 games in. Let's go, boys. Time to show.
Spec, enjoy the weekend, man. There's lots going on. Do you watch? Are you a tennis fan at all?
The big games, like I'll watch a semi. I'll watch a Wimbledon semi or something like that. I tune in here and there during the week. I'm not a huge guy. What about you?
Well, buddy, the Skinner-Alcaraz final, dude, is like, to me, there's certain events in sports that I'm like, I got to watch. And that is one this weekend too. I'd recommend it to anybody out there listening. Even if you don't have to watch it, it's probably going to be a 5-set marathon. I get if you maybe can't commit to 5 sets, but if you want to watch some unbelievable tennis with the 2 best men on the planet right now, tune into that.
What time does it go? Like usually Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get up with a cup of coffee, watch that Wimbledon final any day, or even, like I say, the semis or whatever's going on. But listen, it's a great moment in sports. We're all sports fans here in this conversation, right? I'll watch a big fight, even though I don't watch boxing all the way along. I'll watch a big tennis game. I'll watch, you name the sport. When they're competing at that level, who doesn't want to watch it, man? We're all sports fans.
Yeah, no, very true. Spec, have yourself a great day. We will chat with you on Monday. There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, Skinner is gone. We'll talk about it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle. You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17, it combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart People. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go models. The Golf Cart People stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart People at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use the promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. Use promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Friday. Hope you got big plans for the weekend. Whatever you're doing, have fun. It's that time of year, man. I just find, I don't know, summertime, it's sunny out. The days are longer. It's a little bit better mood, right? You get off. Well, I get off work anyway. Most of you get off work. It's not dark out. Maybe you're wearing, shorts, t-shirts. You're going camping. Maybe you got the barbecue planned. There's a little bit more get-togethers I find in the summer, casually. Maybe sometimes it's not even planned. You're walking around, all your neighbors like, "Hey, Bob, want to come over for a beer?" "Oh, sure." And away you go. So it's good times. It is good times right now. So looking forward to it. You got any big plans, Wanya?
Well, I'm definitely going to the Elks game on Sunday. This is no joke. I went last time. I had a great time. Elks won. Punt return. Wanya Jr. got himself a plastic trumpet that he plays in the shower. I will add, it's just a bit much, but that's being a musician. I can't wait to go back to another Elks game. It was a really good time.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it is. It helps when it wins for sure. But you do things. Now your son, he gets his little toy. Now he's like, well, he associates that with football.
Absolutely. And that's how you build a fan, right?
Yeah.
It isn't going to be like, wow, the offensive line's so coordinated this season. He's 4, right? He just wants to hit the trumpet.
Oh, yeah. No, I can see it. I get it. Say my son's 11 and his favorite part's going on the field after the game. Right now, he does like Trey Ford. He watched the games, understands a little bit for sure, but going on the field is definitely a different, because he just says, "Dad, do you think the Oilers would ever allow you to skate on the ice after the game?" And I'm like, well, so I try to rationalize him. I said, well, where would you put all your stuff though? Right? Like, what if all the kids who came to the game, like, where would their skates be? Yeah. Well, could you leave and then you bring them in your car? I'm like, well, kids would do it. Trust me. They would love that opportunity, but it would be a little bit, it's a little bit challenging.
Did you tell them that in the 80s when the Oilers would win the cup, people would just vault onto the ice over the glass and then celebrate in sneakers? That blows me away that in the 80s Oilers fans were able to jump on the ice and join the cup parade around the ice. That's crazy.
It is different, right? When you watch those, right? Like it's stunning, really, when you think about it. But you look at the NBA celebration, although it's funny, like every sport has different things. And I watched the OKC and I looked at their celebration, and like the hockey players, their gear comes flying off. So A, that doesn't happen in basketball. B, right, they storm on the ice. They're all celebrating by themselves and really as a group first, right? And until the handshake, there's no one else on the ice. Whereas in the NBA, like you look at the crowd, they're bringing on, like the game is over for like a second and they're like, we got to get the stage on. And I'm just like, there was no letting it breathe. And it's funny. I was kind of surprised by that. I'm like, you didn't even get to see the OKC group. Now I know they're on the sidelines, but you're on the bench and you talk to each other. It's great, but I just found that it's a little bit different.
I saw the Texas Rangers beat the San Francisco Giants to win the World Series, and they just took the trophy and went into the dugout. Like there wasn't even a moment of celebration on the field for everybody in Texas who'd been there to watch the game. It blew me away.
That's just coming out from Puckpedia. Oilers fans aren't going to like it. But they calculated the new playoff cap hit that's going to come in the 26-27 season, right? Based on last year's cap numbers. And what was the Oilers roster of players in the Stanley Cup final compared to Florida? So the cap hit was $88 million. The Oilers were at 80.6. Now that's mainly because, Zach Hyman didn't play, right? So there's 5.5 automatically. I'd wonder. Plus, it's only a 20-man roster. So, so you take how many? No problem. The Panthers, $93 million, right? So this is a prime example of why they want this in play. Right now, Edmonton had a key injury, right? That's going to lower it. But even if he was healthy, then it's going to put him at 85.7, right? So it would be closer. They'd still be under, though.
Now, the rule is going to be in the playoffs, you have to have the same cap hit as a regular season. Is that the new rule?
Yeah, but it's going to be based on, you have a 20-man. It's only calculating the 20 players who play in that game.
Oh.
Plus, it has a percentage that goes into if you have somebody who you acquired and what their portion of, because now it's league average. So it's not just a straight calculation of that. It will also include if you have anybody who is dead cap space, like Jack Campbell, 2.6 mil this year, or 2.3 mil for Jack Campbell. That's dead cap space, but that counts on your playoff cap, right? You also would have anybody who had in the minors who has over 1.15 million. If you had somebody like that on your team, that would count. So yeah, it's basically going to limit teams going over, which it should be. Right? I've been saying this for years. Just do a simple one, and even based on that formula, because they had Tkachuk on LTIR when they acquired Jones in them. That's the difference. So now the rule was there. No one cheated. It's just they use the rule to their advantage. I don't discount that Matt Tkachuk was hurt. Definitely was hurt. We all saw it. Didn't play 4 Nations. He was hurt. How long was he hurt? Different question. But either way, you're not cheating because the rule's there, and so they fixed basically the loophole is what they've done. And I think it's very interesting. So, and I think it'd be good that they change it. To be honest, let's go in the room now. Brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. Building owners, you can earn a refundable federal tax of up to 30% on solar projects. Capital cost. Learn more at the ITC at actionelectrical.net. Another former Oiler signed a contract today as we go around the NHL. In the room of the San Jose Sharks, Jeff Skinner getting the same $3 million deal that he had in Edmonton for 1 year. He'll be joined by his minor league teammate Tyler Toffoli in San Jose on a team that has lots of young forwards. And, their coach said today, hey, they think that, he'll get a top 6 opportunity there. So we'll see. Shen Peng joins us from San Jose. Shen, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing? Really well. You look at the Sharks team, and you know what? They obviously want to improve, but in a year where Gavin McKenna is still the star pupil in the next year's draft, do they really want to improve that much?
Well, I think this is a good middle ground here, right? Because obviously signing Jeff Skinner isn't signing Brock Besser. Not that they were in the Besser Derby, really, but it kind of does a little bit of both, where you can't be as bad as you were. You still have Declan Celebrini there. You can't do this to him. You can't do this to Will Smith. And you give them somebody that can put in the puck next to them, which they need. And so but they're still probably not going to be that much better.
No. Their defense. Is their defense any better?
Actually, you know what? I actually think it is. 1 through 6, it makes a lot more sense. Last year, they started off the season with Wallman and CC as their top pairing, which is okay as a bridge pairing. Obviously, 2 guys that you know well in Edmonton. But then with their second pairing, because Shakir Mukhamadullin was hurt to start last season, their second pairing was Mario Ferraro and Jan Ruda. And that is not a good second pairing, especially in the sense of separately, those guys are fine defensively, but together, those are 2 guys that can't really move a puck well. It was an ill-fitting pairing. Whereas this year, we're talking about, okay, Orlov and Klingberg, you are taking a big leap that Klingberg is going to be healthy. That's definitely high risk, high reward. But let's say he is, right? And then you fill out the bottom 4 with Ferraro, with Nick Leddy, with Liljegren, with Mukhamadullin, and kind of actually 1 through 6 can make sense. So I think that this is actually, it's faint praise, but this is probably the best the Sharks defense 1 through 6 in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, now up front, Shen, the Sharks, last year, hey, you had Celebrini, and I think he might have even exceeded expectations, just, how good he was, how productive he was. Will Smith was pretty good as well. Tyler Toffoli, obviously they had a lot of fun. He's like dad, and they're having sleepovers and everything was good. So if you look at kind of, I see Will Smith and I see Macklin Celebrini. Willie Macklin had a pretty good year for sure. And he got paid, he got his extension. Who do you see as the second line center for the Sharks to start next year?
Well, I think it's going to be Smith. At the end of the season, they were already saying that they want to put Smith back at center.
Okay.
And so I think they're going to try it. We'll see how long it lasts. Will played center last year, like the first month of the season, before they realized that, he's 19-year-old, he's a teenager. Yeah, they put him on wing to kind of insulate him the rest of the season, and that's where he kind of took off in the second half of the year on the wing. But they drafted him to be a center, so I believe that that's what we're going to try to do. They're going to try to make it happen, and we'll see if it sticks or not. And anyway, that does kind of make sense if he can kind of hang in that role, because Macklin is destined to be a 1C, and that's going to be his role this year. And Alex Lundberg should be I think Lundberg's a good 3C on a decent team, and so that kind of that's I think that's the idea, at least. That's what they hope will work.
Okay. What about goaltending? I know it's early on and he was banged up, but as Scare-Off, what did you see from him in limited time? They bring him Alexa Nedeljkovic, who's, a competent backup guy for sure. But where do you see Scare-Off, and what's his health at?
His health is good. He finished last season. He was hurt, I think in March, missed about a month or so, but he came back for the AHL playoffs and he was good throughout it. And obviously he has all the talent in the world, but this is going to be kind of his right here. And him and Nedeljkovic, there's a chance that it could be a very good pairing. That's like we said, the defense is a little more competent. And so we'll see. I think obviously a lot hinges on Askarov and if he can take that leap finally. But this is going to be his team. That's what he's been kind of wanting and asking for since he got traded out of Nashville. And so this is going to be his ride here.
The Sharks overall, they also added Ryan Reeves. And I know that Reeves is a good locker room guy. He's limited in what he does on the ice. There's no question about it. But do you feel that the Sharks, I know they weren't a very good team, Shen, but did teams take liberties on them last year?
Yeah. A couple times I think they did. And I think also when you have such sort of prized kind of prospects, young players like Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, that I think you kind of want as much protection as possible, right? And it comes at the expense of Henry Thrun, who is a young defenseman, but I don't think the Sharks believe that there was a lot of upside there anymore. Obviously, they traded for Henry a couple of years ago, hoping that there might be some upside, and it just didn't kind of pan out that Henry developed into kind of more than what he is. And that's just sort of what happens. You take that chance. And so they had a guy like a Reeves. I think also another part of it too is that Mike Greer obviously believes, not every GM believes in this, not every coach believes in this, but Mike Greer clearly believes, old school as he is, believes in that, Mike said today about Ryan Reeves, he makes everybody feel a little bit taller on the bench. He makes everybody feel a little bit taller in the locker room. And so that kind of mentality, Mike obviously subscribes to it. And so you believe in it or not, but the Sharks believe in that.
Shen Peng joins us. Shen, what about Clean Costin? What went down at the end of last season with him? I think it was in the last month. He didn't play. I don't even think he was traveling with the team, and he wasn't hurt from what I understood. What went wrong for that relationship to sour as much as it did?
Well, I think with Kleem, Kleem, when he's on his game, and he showed it in Edmonton, that not a lot of players in the league are like Kleem, that have that package of size and skill and skating and all that stuff coming together, right? But, Kleem's problem throughout his career has just been being consistent and having enough consistency to stick in an NHL lineup on a nightly basis. And also, too, Kleem would make on-the-ice mistakes that were really just colossal at times, and the kind of mistakes that just kind of the what are you doing kind of mistakes, and he couldn't clean that up in San Jose, so he couldn't get the trust of the coaching staff, and I think that was a lot of it at the end, even for a team as undermanned as the Sharks, that they didn't have enough trust in Kleem there.
Do you think he gets an NHL contract, or is he going back to Europe?
I could see if he wants it, maybe a PTO, right? I don't know. I mean, Edmonton obviously was a place that he liked and he flourished in. So, or maybe he can join Ken Holland in LA on a PTO. I mean, obviously, again, the talent is there, and when it worked for him in Edmonton, maybe he needs. Some players don't do well in a place like San Jose, where it's kind of like the team is awful. You just don't. It's not a great surrounding environment, and you really need to really kind of be really self-motivated, I guess. Yeah,
no, it's fair.
To flourish in a negative environment like San Jose. Like Backlund is a guy like that they say that he is very self-motivated, so he's okay here. But some players, though, they need a lot more kind of just positivity around him. And so maybe Kleem on a PTO in Edmonton and LA could make sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure Edmonton would need him based on what they have, but LA maybe, right? They lost Jeannot, so maybe they would want a little bit of physicality for sure. Who do you see if I look at Reeves and he'll be on their fourth line, obviously, but is Adam Gaudette, Carl Gunstrom, Philip Kurashev, is that going to be their third line?
It could be. I mean, if you have Wenberg as sort of, you hope as your staple, your center there. Kurashev could be a candidate for that to go down there. They do seem to have an extra forward now that they didn't have in terms of just like they might need to let go of a Dellandrea or a Brunstrom or something like that. I mean, it's not really set there, right? They don't have a lot of set it and forget it top 9 pieces there. So definitely a camp will be open competition. I think the only kind of set it and forget it guy is Wenberg there, and then to just be open to see who can play with Wenberg. I think Gaudet's I got a good chance at it because Gaudet does have a little bit of skill for a bottom 6 guy. He's got a good shot, right? And so he's a guy that and Wenberg, as we know, Wenberg doesn't like to shoot. Wenberg needs somebody to dish the puck off to. Wenberg's best success last year was when he played with the Foley. And so maybe Gaudet or maybe even a Skinner can go down there and be that guy to work with Alex down there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be fascinated to see Will Smith at the center ice position. That's something to watch for, and something for all of our fantasy players. Smith and Celebrini will start anyway. It sounds like centering their own line. So we'll see if how Smith handles that, because that's a big increase in responsibility for a young player.
Yeah, it's huge, and I am kind of curious about what's going to happen there. I thought that they should re-sign Mikhail Granlund or make more of a bid on that. I don't think that they did. And I thought that Mikhail would have provided that kind of insurance at center in case Will doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. I don't think you want a situation where Smith doesn't work out and you're forcing Wenberg back in the 2C role. I don't think that's ideal. So we'll see. Maybe they obviously they work with Will. Maybe they have a lot more confidence that he can kind of take it over and at least survive in that level. And who knows? Maybe Michael Miso will come into camp and take that job. So
no, he's going to be a really good player in the future. But the Sharks be smart not to rush him. Let him go back and dominate. Yeah. And man, if the Sharks could win the lottery and all of a sudden you would add in Mr. McKenna next year, that would be a massive turnaround for the Sharks in a pretty short period of time. You got Misa, McKenna, Celebrini, and Smith. That would be pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, I think they'll be thrilled with number 2 and get a Verhoff. I think they'll be pretty happy with that too.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, because they would need a defenseman, no question about it. Shen, great stuff, my man. We really appreciate it. Have yourself a great day.
Yeah, man. You too, man. Talk to you soon.
It's Shen Penn joining us from Hockey Now in San Jose. Final break. We'll come back one day's world and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. You'll get a free $50 play when you sign up.
Your Edmonton Elks face the BC Lions this Sunday at 5. Join the prehistoric party presented by Payworks. We're bringing back the Dino Nuggets at concession, baby dinosaur crawl, and bigger, better T-Rex combine at halftime. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezer start at just $199. Barbecues start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items. In-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Alberta is already the economic engine of Canada. But we could be so much more prosperous if Ottawa would work with us, rather than attack our economy and jobs. The status quo needs to change. But how? The Alberta Next panel wants to hear from you on how we can best strengthen Alberta's sovereignty and position within a united Canada. Please visit alberta.ca/next and tell us what you think Alberta's next step should be. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's a final segment of the week. Holy cow, it's gone by. 2 weeks without Connor Halley. Just flew right by. The con man will be back on Monday. Oh, he'll be refreshed, ready to go. He's probably checked out all of the possibilities mathematically for his Chargers to see what they can do next season. So who knows? Maybe he won't come back in a good mood after checking out all those options to see what his team will look like. We'll see. We shall see. So he'll be back. Big shout out to Deck and Josh for filling in for the past few weeks. It's been awesome. We get to Juan Ye's World now, brought to you by Action Electrical. 4 divisions with project, service, tag, and solar. Your one-stop shop, actionelectrical.net.
1 year, $3 million for Jeff Skinner in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity.
It's the exact same deal he got in Edmonton.
Except there is a 0% chance he's going to be adding to his playoff totals of his career.
Well, not in San Jose, but if he has a good year, maybe he gets traded at the deadline.
What if that's all the playoffs for Jeff Skinner? After 1,078 games and 15 seasons in the NHL, what if he goes to San Jose and he only gets 5 games his entire career being that good?
Well, he is only 33, so, he might be a 1-year guy from now on. But yeah, like when you consider, lots of other teams didn't. So although there wasn't a lot of openings really in free agency this year, when you think about it, lots of teams just signed their own guys. So, yeah, he might be a guy who bounces around. I think Skinner's attitude will make him somebody that teams are like, hey, this he's good in the room. He's positive attitude. I do think that taste of playoff hockey is actually going to help him, because he's going to go to San Jose. It sounds like, he's going to get an opportunity to play, with good young players, right? Like kind of help mentor them maybe a little bit. So, and no one really had an issue with Skinner's competitiveness all the time. It's just, he wasn't really a fit with how the coach wanted them to play, right? Like sold on to the puck. And so it wasn't great. Now, I'll say this, he was right in the battle in the games he played in the playoffs. Now he was fresh. And so you could probably make an argument, should they have played him more? Right? Fair question, right? Like he had fresh legs. I think that was obvious in the games that he played. So I'd like to think he'll get more than 5, but you're right. It's a possibility that could be it, just based on the, if no one else signs him. That's kind of where he goes. So
who do you put in that group of players that have played in the league for a long time, are good players, but have seen next to nothing in the playoffs?
Well, there's not many, man. Like there's not many at the like his level.
Yeah.
Like he played the most games ever, I think, without getting to a playoff game. So when you look at it, guys who play, like, they'll be in teams for a long, like Tage Thompson, right? Like you get stuck on a team that hasn't been in the playoffs your whole career. Well, it's going to be hard, right? So if Buffalo right now, lots of guys in Buffalo. Now Anaheim has a lot of young players, so they don't really have anybody that's been there that long. Like I got to go back and find out now. Who's the longest active, most games played without playing in a playoff game?
Like 8 years in Carolina, no playoff games.
Oh yeah.
6 years in Buffalo, no playoff games. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So like you look, Skinner, Rasmus Ristolainen is one, because now he's in Philly. Brady Tkachuk made it. Rasmus Dahlin didn't. Tage Thompson would be another one.
It's all Sabres.
Oh yeah, there's lots of them. So there's just not that many really I think did Sigma? Yeah, Jurgensen made it finally. So there's a few of the top 5 guys who knocked themselves off that perch, right? So, yeah, to me, it's going to be Buffalo guys. There's not going to be anybody else that's kind of. I guess if I have to go back and look at guys who played, 1,000 NHL games that had less than 20 playoff games, I'd probably have to look at them to see how many there are.
The Nuge got up there before the decade of darkness ended.
Oh yeah,
he had lots of seasons under his belt.
Well, 5, not a crazy amount, right? So I
watching how well the Nuge plays in the playoffs, it makes you wonder about all those years he missed, what he would have been capable of doing.
Yeah, he had. This year he had a pretty decent playoffs. Actually, I thought he was really. Unfortunately, he broke his hand. That was another part that's really unfortunate for the Oilers. So, he breaks his hand. Hyman's out. There's 2 of your top 4 forwards, and they're done. And Nugent Hopkins still finished like his last 2 years in the playoffs. He has 42 points in 47 games. Fair amount. I'd have to look. This year was better, even strength, but I thought a fair amount of those were on the power play. I'm just going to double check here for Nugent Hopkins. He had 18 points on the power play, 24, 5-on-5, which is still pretty good. But he's kind of like a half a point guy, 5-on-5. He's a good power play player. So that's why I think Nugent Hopkins, for me, this would be the regular season where I start to transfer Nugent Hopkins to be in my 3rd line center, because he just doesn't produce enough. Al talked about it in hour number 3 on the show, that he just doesn't produce enough 5-on-5 to be the guy to play in your top line. Like eventually at some point you got to make that transfer for the Edmonton Oilers. So, hey, Gregor, Olli Jokinen would be a guy. Yeah. 6 games in the playoffs, 1 year. And he played 1,231 games.
Good God.
He played in the NHL from 1998-99 to 2014-15 and made the playoffs once. And when he made the playoffs, he had 2 goals, 5 points in 6 games. So, yeah. Oh, that was a great call from the text line, Maddie. Great call. So
Skinner's going to the playoffs for the Oilers. I'll remember the smile on his face.
Oh, yeah, when he
such a
scored his
relief.
goal, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, if he has a good year in San Jose, he'll be a guy who could get acquired at the deadline. Doesn't have a no movement clause. It's a 1-year deal. It's not that expensive. He could be easily. San Jose retains some salary. Could be an easy trade. Have a great weekend, everyone. Please don't drink and drive. Don't be weeding and driving. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology, a place to improve your game on and off the ice. You got membership packages, elite level coaching right in the mall. Check it out, 01.ca. Good night. Here's Declan Kruger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
CFL news is tonight's game between the Stampeders and Rough Riders has been delayed to a 7:45 p.m. local time kickoff due to air quality concerns. The game was originally supposed to go at 7. Other CFL news, Elks injury updates. Javon Leake was a full participant in practice today, while David Beard was limited. Both are available for the game on Sunday against the Lions. Canadian defensive end Robbie Smith will be out for this one. Scores around the majors right now in the bottom of the 3rd. The Orioles lead the Marlins 4-0. Reds lead the Rockies 1-0. Mariners lead the Tigers by the same score. And the final earlier today in the only game 1 of a doubleheader, was the Guardians 4 and the White Sox 2. San Jose Sharks have signed Jeff Skinner to a 1-year, $3 million deal. They have also acquired Ryan Reeves in exchange for defenseman Henry Thrun from the Maple Leafs. In the WNBA, one game in action right now. The Dream lead the Fever 23-21 at the end of the first. Local action, the Edmonton Riverhawks opening up a new set tonight against the Port Angeles Lefties, and the Edmonton Stingers will be playing out in Toronto against the Scarborough Shooting Stars with a 5:30 p.m. tip-off. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking